Hello, love wrestling. It's Thursday night. It's 8 p.m. And you know what that means. It's another new episode of Between Two Beards.
Can we start off with the biggest news of the week? The Rats lost!
But every night I'm making new best friends, and the only problem is we like having a good time. Forget yourself now.
If you've got the budget, I've got the time.
There he is.
Hey, boss!
There's the boss.
Hey! The man with the finest beard on this screen. Canadian men, boys, shut the hell up. Let me talk.
You see, the Rads are resourceful. When I got beef with somebody, I can find a way to talk to them.
Hello, love wrestling. It is Thursday night. It is 8 p.m. And y'all know what that means.
Wait, I gotta go this way. You know what it means.
Oh, you're going the wrong way, bro.
No, I'm going the right way now. On
No,
screen.
you're trying to be looking at me, right?
No, I'm trying to help you.
Oh.
I'm trying to help you brighten up your stream. That's my dog! Woo! The champ is here, baby.
The champ is here.
The last real KOP champion right here.
This is the last KOP champion because they're never getting this back. They're never getting this back. It's upside down. This
fine.
will remain mine for the history of time.
Forever. I'm going to let you have your moment in the sun.
I don't need a moment. My moment is right on my shoulder right here.
All right. Well, then if you mind, I'll speak
This
on
is
it.
my
I'll
moment.
speak on it. Tanner's here. I'll speak on it.
You can speak on it. You can be
All
my
right.
wise man.
All
and
right.
you can talk for me.
So listen,
The champ doesn't need to talk.
The Kicking Out podcast, they came into our kitchen, challenged us. They thought, oh, we'll have some fun. It'll be a nice little collaborative crossover. It'll be cool. It'll be best for business. Yeah, look at you now, KOP. We got your belt. We got your belt. And it's not coming back. It's not coming back. He won that thing. You set Paul? You set Paul? Because Tanner was scared. Shep was scared. Paul, I respect you for toe-to-toe with the big guy right here. It's a celebration tonight, and that thing is happily in Boston, Massachusetts, and that's where it's going to stay. Between Two Beards, we'll take all your championships. Suck on that, Tanner.
Listen, there are levels to things, all right?
It's not Paul's fault, Tanner, that
It's
you
not
couldn't
Paul's
get the
fault.
job
You can
done.
blame Paul all you want, Tanner. Shep. You can blame Paul. Paul made it to the dance, boys. You guys did not.
Yeah.
So you want to blame Paul, you can blame him.
You guys were a first-round exit.
You
So
can
was
blame
I,
him.
but that's okay.
But I'll tell you, sometimes it don't matter how great you are, you run into just someone better. And that's what happened here. I've shown up on your show twice, and I've had perfect cards twice because there are levels to things in life.
Hello, Dustin.
And I am on a level that not many are on.
Hello, Scott. Welcome to Championship Corner.
So we accept your challenge for Double or Nothing. You want to make it a tag team challenge so you can have a better chance of winning in your mind? You go ahead. Go ahead. Any stipulation, anything you want, we accept.
So
And
it's
at the
me
end
and
of the
you
evening,
versus which
I
one
don't
of you?
know. I heard them talking, Pluggo.
Figure it out. Figure it out.
I
Doesn't
heard them
matter.
talking. They were saying tag team. Maybe we'll do this. Maybe we'll do that. Do whatever you want. Set up the hoops. We're going to crash through all of them.
Kicking out pod, skipping out pod, chopping out pod, don't matter. Beards in 5.
5. That's generous.
That's generous. I'll give them one. They'll get one right. They'll
That's
get one
generous.
right. It'll take 5 matches. We'll be done. 5 matches on the Double or Nothing card. It'll be over before
Set
we
it up however you want to set it up. Because the Beards are going to show up.
Show
and the
out.
Beards are going to do what we do. And this belt will be over my shoulder past Double or Nothing.
That's right. Tell them.
24 more days. Keep going to sleep every night,
Tell 'em.
counting those days down.
Preach.
Because you'll get to 1, and you'll be like, tomorrow's the day we're going to win it back, and your dreams will be crushed once more.
See, we got Tanner's here. He's the boss man over there at KOP, I believe.
Yeah.
He's saying, I don't know who runs the show over there, or whose idea this was, but he says enjoy it for 24 more days. The fact that the belt has left your podcast and made it on to a different podcast doesn't matter if we lose it. We ain't losing, but if we did, the damage has already been done. That belt's been in JPJ's fridge. He's been carrying it around all day. I don't know. He might have showered with that thing. He might have.
Yeah, I might have made a self Shawn Michaels calendar with it.
Which, by the way, will be up on betweentwobeards.com.
100%, $99.99. People will buy it. Trust me.
You thought you could come to Between Two Beards and get an easy dub, and you found out that that's just not the case,
Bro.
You
know, and then you blame again. I'm not here to defend anybody, but then you blame Paul.
Paul is the innocent in all this.
If Paul didn't do what he would have done,
it might have been.
We wouldn't even had to have picked WrestleMania picks. I would have won that shit from the outright.
Yeah. Could you imagine a scenario where Paul didn't do well, y'all didn't do well, and it's just
if it wasn't for Paul, this title would have been in my mitts way sooner.
Yeah.
Paul let you hang on to it for just a smidge longer.
Don't get mad at Paul because he gave you guys hope. It's not Paul's fault that you got your hopes up.
We'll see you in 24 days. We'll see you in 24 days. And this belt will be seeing you a whole lot longer than that, but we'll see you in 24 days.
Yeah. 24
this
days.
Is where this is staying.
A title
right
selfie
here.
a day. We're just gonna rub it in.
Mm.
We might even have JPJ's gonna get some new side plates that say Between Two Beards on them things. We might.
I'm just gonna spray paint it. Like
just
NWO.
spray paint it?
Just purple
Yeah.
spray paint. B2B.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna do. You never know. I can do what I want. This is mine. I am the champ. I make the rules now.
Yeah.
That's how that goes.
He picked a perfect card on you guys. Listen, look at that. Tanner.
Twice.
Not only does
Twice.
Tanner have to deal with the fact that his championship is on enemy territory, he's a Broncos fan too. Ugh.
You know, whatever. I like Bo Nix. He seemed fine. He was like 30, but he seems fine.
He's like 30.
Like a 30-year-old rookie, isn't he? Wasn't he like 28? Some shit, like Chris Winky. Chris Winky things or something like that.
So yeah, we accept said challenge, whatever
We
challenge may be. We will be wherever you need us to be, and we will make this happen. Don't run scared though. Don't be upset when that thing makes its way.
Dustin is saying we need to lay cool it if I retain. Yeah, what if you win? Like what if double? I mean, is it?
I don't know how the
do I
tag
ship
team
it back to you. I'm gonna leave this.
I don't know how the
right
tag
here.
is. It a collective score between the two of us?
Yeah. Ooh, all right, Tana. See, Tana.
In defeat, always coming with good questions. By the way, Dustin wants to know if that title is as long as you are tall.
No, it's no. I mean, look at it. It's probably
Neither
I'm not
confirmed
gonna
nor
tell you
denied.
how close it is to my whole body length. But yeah. I don't know.
It's
was
a
time.
it's a good day in Beards Camp to be the champs. Listen, I didn't win it, but it's here where it needs to be. That was the goal. Get it out of the Kicking Out podcast crew.
The goal is to win.
Yeah.
And that's just what I do. My favorite title, that's the illusion, Sullivan. Nobody's supposed to know. I could be 6'2", I could be 5'4".
I don't know. There is a graphic out there with us standing next to Gunther at SummerSlam, and I look like I'm like almost eye level with him. I
could have kissed his nipple.
Yeah, I don't think I'm that tall, or I didn't realize he was that short. It's one of the two.
Yeah, it's fair. Tanner, my favorite championship of all time.
White icy
is if we're talking in the history of all of it, I'm a big Intercontinental Champion fan. Obviously, Gunther has kind of brought that more to prestige over the last couple of years. There was a long stretch where that title was not getting the flowers. It just didn't matter for a long time, which sucked. But growing up, especially watching wrestling when I first started, like when I started in the early to mid 90s before the Attitude Era, like the best guys were IC champs, dude. Bret Hart, Mr. Perfect, Shawn Michaels, like early Shawn Michaels. Like those guys were the best guys, and they were the IC champ. And then I went to Owen and the Bolt. Yeah, it was just like, the Triple H, The Rock, like all those guys. The IC champ is kind of like how they've been doing it now. Like Gunther was the IC champ for a long time, and then he elevated to the world champion. Braun Breaker was the IC champion, and now he's elevated to top of the card, at least pairing in the group he's in, and everybody kind of knows, seeing Braun, that's a future multi-time leader, star of the company, world champ. Like the IC belt was always used as a stepping stone. If you were the IC champion, that meant that they knew down the line you were going to be a world champion. And then it kind of lost its way for a long time.
Kind of like you're the Kicking Out Pod world champion?
Yes. I don't know what that will lead me to, besides being the best.
What's up, Fernando? We got Scott in the house, Dustin. As always, hit that like button, subscribe, share this out. Let your friends know you want to hang out with us, so the algorithm is kind to us. We've got a pretty loose show today. We don't have any guests lined up, but you never know who might pop in and pop out of this place.
I know who better not pop in.
If you want to get some questions or statements right on the air, guaranteed, super chat us is the best way to get that done. Show us that you love us. It's JPJ's birthday tomorrow too, so maybe you super chat him and buy him a drink. He's gonna go out drinking with the Kicking Out Podcast Championship. He's gonna pull a Chris Jericho and get it stolen from a steakhouse, baby.
Yep. That is a factual statement. Tomorrow it is mine and the final boss, The Rock's birthday.
I don't think he's
tomorrow.
Gonna teach you.
David Beckham.
Mine was Saturday. We're old men in the game.
Tomorrow, I'm a big round number, Pluggo.
Yeah, he is.
I'm a big round number tomorrow. Let me tell you.
20?
I'm 20 years old tomorrow. It's been a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Double that. If you double that, that's what I am tomorrow. It's a lot of people say it's a milestone birthday. But that's where I'm at, man.
I don't know. I don't generally get jacked up about any birthday.
Yeah, I mean, whatever.
So
I gotta work. We'll see how work, man. Like, it's not like I'm gonna fucking be flying to fucking Barbados or some shit tomorrow. I gotta wake up at 4 a.m. and go to work.
I bet if you pawned that title off, you get some money.
I could. Yeah, this could buy a vacation.
Yeah,
this could buy a vacation.
Tanner's at home sweating, going, "Please don't, please don't."
Oh, all right. Well, I share a birthday with the lovely Cresta Star as well. See?
Oh, nice. There you go. Very cool.
Yeah. So. Yeah, that's tomorrow. Bless. Yeah, so you guys should super chat me because it's my birthday.
Yeah.
And that's just how it goes. All right, Pluggo. Where we starting, bro?
Oh, I don't know.
Where we starting, bro?
What does everybody want?
What are we talking about?
We got options. We could talk a little draft, just to kind of synopsis real quick. We could talk Raw, which I thought was super good.
Well, I definitely want to talk about
SmackDown. We could talk about the fact that. Okay, listen.
Yeah.
Listen, no, I don't even talk about that. I'm talking about John Cena having the nerve to tell me that he's raised my kids for 25 years. That's why he doesn't have any. You don't have any kids, John, because you chose
we're
not
not
to.
shaming people. We're not doing that.
No, he sat up there. Nikki was all about it. Let's have kids, John. Let's have kids. Let's do it. And he was like, "You're getting water on my kitchen sink."
Can I just okay?
It's your fault, John. It's not my fault. You didn't raise my kids.
Before we dive into the wrestling side of it, because we have a lot to talk about on the wrestling side of it, because we're getting good. We're getting good. Obviously, we talked about the draft in our post today. We've done the draft. I love the NFL draft. Okay. I love the night of the NFL draft. I love seeing the kids get drafted, and I get excited. My team has sucked the last 3 or 4 years, so we've had early picks, which is obviously more exciting than picking towards the end, which we did forever. However, when it comes to post-draft analysis, I don't give a fuck. I don't care, because nobody knows anything.
You seem to care, though, during the draft if your team...
Yes, because I have players that I watched in college that I'm like, oh, I like him. When I watched him, he was good. I like him.
Yeah.
So when I see them get... Yes. But as far as people telling me, oh, yeah, their draft grade was a B+. You don't know shit. You don't know shit. Draft grades are the dumbest thing ever, because nobody knows shit. Okay? As a Patriots fan, do I like what my team did this year? Yes. I've seen the interviews of the players. I watched some of the players. I thought we had an okay draft, but I don't know until I see them play at all. Because okay, we talked about a little, the Patriots getting draft grades from every publication. A+. They had the best draft. A. Great. Okay, cool. I hope so. As a Patriots fan, I hope so. Do you know what the Patriots got for draft grades last year? A's and A+ and B+ from everywhere, besides Drake May.
So what do you want him to talk about after the draft? What do you want him to talk about?
When it comes to post-draft and
it is all
meaningless.
Speculation.
It is meaningless.
Everything we do is speculation and discussion.
It is just I have to listen to some guy for 10 minutes tell me that the Jacksonville Jaguars had a B+ draft and they're going to be good, and then guess what? Next year they're going to be fucking 7 and not 10 like they always are. I don't like.
That'd be pretty good for them though. 7 and 10.
Okay, first of all, Fernando, the media? Everybody hates the Patriots. When you say the media is always biased towards the Patriots, that is factually incorrect, because the media has hated the Patriots for 20 years.
Yeah, Ryan, that Boston Angus coming out.
That is a ridiculous comment.
Justin, we need the comment. We need the comment. The Boston
Everybody
Angus
hates the Patriots. So to say that the media is biased towards the Patriots, that is just factually incorrect. Everybody hates the Patriots.
You don't hate the Patriots. So
because I'm a Patriots
fan.
Because I'm a Patriots fan. I grew up here.
There it is.
It's in my blood.
Yeah.
But again, it's just what. Hi, Mrs. Pluggo.
Mrs. Pluggo! Love my life. How you doing? Boston Anger coming this fall to the CW, starring JPJ.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, whatever. Here's my thing. Yeah, listen, Will Kemp, they get a lot of coverage because they're the Patriots. They're the greatest franchise in the history of the fucking sport. It is what it is. But I will say I love Will Campbell and his little T-Rex arms. I love him. Did you hear what he said in his interview?
He would
on the
die
stage?
for his quarterback.
Damn right. I wanted to run through a fucking wall, man. Hey, you were brought to protect Drake May. What kind of effort are you going to give? And his response was, I will fight and die to protect him with everything I had. And I ripped my shirt off. And I started twirling it. I was like, can we start the games tomorrow? Can we start the games tomorrow? I will run through a wall. I will run through a wall. Can't wait till we win fucking 6
Well,
games.
I don't have
Anyway,
I don't have a team to get super excited about, but I thought the Shador Sanders thing
yes.
was
Well, I feel like that's
quite-
the only thing we really need to discuss.
quite interesting because I had said after we got off air Thursday that maybe that Dion and Shador were kind of planning this out where it was like, let's not go to teams that we don't want to go to, and if we fall, the pressure kind of comes off. Yeah, that reigns true maybe into the second or third round, but not drop into the fifth round and then get drafted behind guys that like the Saints guy he's had 3 season-ending surgeries.
First of
And
all,
they're like, we'll take that guy.
all right.
Chuck.
I am not one of these people.
What people?
It felt like to me that after a certain point, I can understand Jackson Dart getting drafted before Shador. Can understand it. I can understand a few other people getting drafted. Once that kid from Louisville was taken, I was like, this is rigged.
Well,
This
he
whole thing
he
is-
was
this
taking
whole thing is rigged.
he was taking second behind
No,
Dart.
no, Dart went
Third.
Yeah.
Cam Ward was first. I'm not
Yes.
even factoring Cam Ward.
Once that happened, I was like, first of all, that guy is like he's like 26 years old. All right. He's like a fucking old guy.
Yeah,
He's not a regular like he's like a 25-year-old rookie. Right? First of all.
Yeah.
Second of all, he sucks. He sucks. He went to friggin' Louisville. He stinks.
He was he lost the starting job to Justin Herbert, and that's why he went
Fair.
to Louisville.
Yes.
So
And
I mean,
again, I have a whole
but he's not
that's a whole-
great.
I have a whole other thing about that bothers me. Beyond my levels. You lost
Because
the
you're
job.
not a huge Justin Herbert guy either.
Well, I need
You're
to
not-
be because I have him in a dynasty league this year.
I was
so
gonna
need to
say
be.
you weren't. I mean, it's not that you're like anti Justin Herbert.
I'm not-
You just
no.
never. You're just never like that's the dude.
You know why? You know why?
'Cause he
Because
lives
I've been hearing that he's a top 5 quarterback since he got
Yeah.
fucking drafted. And you know what? He threw 4 picks in the playoff game last year,
Oh, I know.
like he
I
does
watched.
every year.
I watched.
So until he actually does something in the league and wins, how about we shut the fuck up about Justin Herbert?
But
Please.
yeah. I mean,
Okay.
that's fair. But
There's a
the
difference between being talented and being a good quarterback. And he is not the latter.
Ooh, she's Maria wants to know if you're one of those sports conspiracy.
No, and that's what I meant when I said I'm not one of those people. However, the 5th round is insane. That is insane.
As someone who is obviously a Notre Dame fan, so that is my appointment viewing every Saturday for 14, hopefully 16 weeks a season. The second most games I watched this college football season was Colorado.
Yeah.
I am
Worst offensive line in fucking college sports.
I am infatuated with what Deion's doing in there. But Shador this is a combination of if you pick him, if the Giants take him, and he sits on the bench behind Russell and Jameis, and they suck. You're going to have to hear it from Shador's camp, which is Deion being very vocal. So that's a circus that you don't want. It's a weak draft. It's a weak quarterback class for sure.
Which is fair. Yeah.
Which is fair.
Yeah.
And then Shador, if you're not in love with the kid, why waste the first round pick? On top of the fact that he did take some of his interviews, I feel, to not go to certain teams, and then by that point, you're like, okay, if I don't see you as a surefire starter, why take you? Him getting drafted after Dylan Gabriel was weird. Granted, Dylan Gabriel was okay, but on the same
he's not.
beat,
He's 4
he's
foot
okay.
6.
He's okay. I didn't say he was great. He's not going to be. He's got a good head on his shoulders. He's won everywhere he's been. He's going to be able. He's not going to go in there and do something crazy. He's not a wild card. He's okay. He's a backup. He's not a starter. He's a backup. 100%.
Listen, I'm not shocked that the Cleveland Browns ended up taking Shador Sanders after Dylan Gabriel. They're the Cleveland Browns. They are the most inept franchise in the history of my life in the game of professional sports. Like they have no clue what they're doing.
Scott, I disagree because Eli Manning did it.
I was
and
just
it
going to say.
worked out for him.
And again, I know that people will take this a certain way, but John Elway did it. Eli Manning did it. This is not like this is the first time that a quarterback a father or a whatever has come out and said, we're not playing for you. This is not the first time. But when they did it, it was okay. It was fine. But this time, Deion is the reason he – no. I'm not accepting that as an
There's
excuse.
still people out there that think he's better than Cam Ward.
I think that's a stretch. First
There
of all,
are
here's the
there,
thing.
I don't think any of these guys are going to be good. That good. Any of them.
Cam Ward has the mentality, at least from what I've seen from interview. Like, he has the mentality that if he works at it, I could see him, but it was a weak class. Like, I don't think any of these guys are going to be, I mean, there's always one that pops, right? There always is. But like, I don't know.
I just think
I can't see any of these guys showing up and being like last year's draft class, where Jaden Daniels is in the NFC Championship and Caleb got better as the year went on and Drake May was okay. Like, those guys Bo Nix had a good year. Like, those guys showed up and were pretty competitive and good from the start, And I just don't think any of those guys this year, could one of them sneak through and become a starter? Yeah, it happens all the time. It happens all the time. But like, I don't know. You know who I liked was the kid from Syracuse. McCord? Was that his name? Kyle McCord? Kyle,
the former Ohio State quarterback.
I like him.
Lost the
I
job
like
to
him.
Will Howard, and then Will Howard went to the Eagles.
I saw that. I mean, look,
yeah,
he's never going to play.
Ryan's right. You can be as cocky as you want if you're the best, but if you're not, and that's the thing. Like, I think Shedeur bet on himself, and I think they did the right thing. Bet on yourself. But I think it was a combination of that storm and the NFL going like, we're not going to let you dictate what you do. And I think because, again, there's no way that he falls to the 5th round if there's not some kind of like, I don't want to say conspiracy because that is tough, but it's like there was a collective like, we're going to humble this kid right out of the gate. And again, I said it last week, and I said it off air to you. He doesn't need the money. He comes from money, and he also had a hell of an NIL package.
And I think
he didn't need the money, so it's not like it actually hurts him at all in the sense of financial. Now, back in the day, he just cost himself millions and millions of dollars. Well, guess what? It's also his jersey is already like outselling every other Browns jersey.
He's fine.
He's gonna be fine.
But I think that was part of it. I think that was part of it, though, because I think when he went into these interviews, he had that mentality. Like, I think it started with the fact that these college kids, the high-profile ones, are starting to make that. Look at the kid from Tennessee just went to UCLA. He's making like $4 million or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah, Quinn Ewers turned down $7 million to be a second-round pick.
So like it's like one of those things now where these players are coming into the league and they might not necessarily have the mentality of like, oh, I need to play, like I need this, I need to play football. Like that was the thing that I've heard that came across with Shedeur, where it was like, oh, well, he was entitled, it's not anything we haven't seen before, but he also was very much like had a mentality of like, yeah, I don't really need football. I'm just good at it and I like doing it. But like I don't need it. And it's like
David's in the house. We'll talk about that.
I just think there's a mentality going on where these kids are going to be getting to the draft already millionaires. Whereas before, getting to the league made you a millionaire.
You get a first round paycheck and that guaranteed money.
Yes.
Changed your life. But
100%. And now these kids are getting, and again, I'm pro paying the college athletes, but like these kids getting money at 18 years old, by the time they're getting drafted when they're 20, 21, 22, they're already millionaires. They're already millionaires.
And it didn't even sound like the Browns GM was overly excited about the pick either. He just went, he's going to outperform his draft slot. It was a good value. And that's up to you, Shedeur. I'm a fan, buddy. I like you a lot. Now you just have to prove us wrong and prove everyone wrong and be like, and outperform that crowded quarterback from Cleveland, which is god-awful.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, I don't expect all of those guys to make it to
Kenny Pickett, Joe Flacco, Deshaun Watson, Dylan Gabriel, and Shedeur Sanders. What a room.
Well, I would expect Kenny Pickett to be sayonara.
They just traded for him.
You can't keep. Well, are they going to get rid of Flacco? He's like 50.
Well, they're doing I guess they're hedging their bets. They're going between Gabriel and Sanders. There's going to be a clear number 3 because Watson ain't playing because he's hurt. So there'll be a clear third string backup. We'll figure out the rest from there, and then maybe one of those two challenges for the backup role, and Kenny Pickett moves. Flacco's not the long-term answer. And they also were very smart. And they traded out of the Travis Hunter pick, which I still think he's generational. But hey, and then they got a first-round pick next year for a more loaded draft class.
Yeah. And so, I just think Flacco is the type of guy that you probably want Shedeur Sanders to be around. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, he's a veteran guy who's won. And now, again, if Shedeur has the mentality that he don't give a fuck what you say, you know, if he has that mentality, it's not going to matter in the long run. But if this did humble him at all, I don't know if it did, and he's willing to put in the work, having a guy like Joe Flacco to kind of show you how it is to be a successful quarterback, even though he's old, but like he's a proven dude. That's the type of guy I would want Shedeur to be around, even if it is only for a season. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. It is what it is. But yeah, that's how I feel about the draft. Post-draft analysis, I don't give a shit.
I've been listening to it. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll listen to it because I love football. But if you tell me that, again, the Jaguars had a B+ draft, okay, great. That's all well and good. People told me that the Patriots had a good draft last year. They took Drake May and they took a bunch of bums who couldn't catch the football or block anybody. B+, A- draft in 2020. Kiss my ass. Kiss my ass. Nobody knows shit when it comes to draft grades. Nobody knows shit.
I think by Double or Nothing, Paul might be on Team Beards.
Well, I would be. I mean, if his own people are treating him like that.
Yeah.
It's not proper. All right.
So yeah, I was trying to talk about John Cena blaming me for him not having kids, and I didn't quite appreciate that, Mr. Cena. It's not my fault. You had your chances. You still could do it tomorrow if you wanted your John Cena. It's not my fault, man. And then Randy Orton RKO'd the shit out of him, which was dope.
2 weeks in a row.
Hells yeah.
2 weeks in a row. Hit him with that.
Yeah. Maria says, watch your blood pressure, dude.
I'm good. I'm a freak of nature. I had a doctor tell me, my birthday's tomorrow, so I'll be going for my physical soon, my checkup. I had a doctor less than a decade ago tell me that I was a freak of nature.
Yeah.
Yep. And I was like, I'm taking that as a compliment. And she was like, you should. And I said, thank you. And then that was it. So I'm good. I'm good. For a man of my size, knock on wood. Although tomorrow I turn 40, so it could all end. You know, I feel like when you turn 30, you start getting like aches and pains that you never knew you had before, like almost immediate. Yeah. Almost immediate, right? So like I turned 30 and then I remember being like, oh, like my fucking hip hurts. And like I'd be like, what the hell? You know, like I had like other, like, you know, so I wonder when you turn 40 what that next thing is.
Death.
Like, am I just gonna? Yeah, I was gonna say, am I gonna wake up and like my arm's gonna fall off?
Wheelchair.
Like, you know what I mean? Don't say that because that could probably happen. You know, but it's just, you know, it's great.
Just like happy birthday. I can't move.
I don't know. All I know is that Sunday I'm going to a nice Italian dinner, getting a little liquored up. It's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a good time.
There you go.
That's what we're doing. Yeah. So all right, but besides John Cena, you know, making you feel like a bad parent.
Maybe I don't feel like a bad parent. I do just fine. He ain't raising my damn kids.
Yeah, your kids are too little, so were you raised by? No, you were anti-John Cena.
No, I wasn't. I wasn't raised by Mr. Cena. I was booing the shit out of him. I still am. Yeah. I'm holding strong, man.
All right, man.
Last match, you ain't gonna see me. No, I might tip the cap respect wise.
100%.
But that's about it. John.
You're gonna cry. You're gonna be like, listen, I wasn't the biggest fan of him, but that's a part of that's a large section of my life that's just going away, bro. Just going away.
We shall see.
Fernando
says he's 45 and you'll be fine.
Oh, I know. See, there you go. Maria says she was raised by Uncle Cena. Unc, as the kids say.
I just, I obviously am talking more in jest, that I get what he's saying in his heel persona. But when he was like, it's your fault I don't have kids, I was like, don't put that on me, bud.
Yeah, it's fair. It's fair.
You think a guy of John Cena's stature could have opportunities and he said, and that's the thing, you've said in multiple interviews, John, the reason you don't have kids is because you don't think you're ready for them. Yeah. All of a sudden you turn heel and it's our fault you don't have kids? What the fuck? I could pull the clips.
You know?
And
Listen, it is what it is. It is what it is. John ain't putting up with any shit anymore. He hates these kids. He hates these kids.
maybe he has kids and he just can't see them.
No, he doesn't have kids. Isn't that the reason why, at least on Total Divas, isn't that the reason why
he can't see them?
I know.
Because they have-
I know what you did there.
I know you don't like. I know you don't like to sell for me.
Yeah, I'm not. Listen,
I just pumped you up for. 20...
I don't gotta sell for anybody.
That's what
all
I'm
right.
saying. I just pumped
I
you
don't
up.
gotta sell for anybody. All right. Understood?
I guess. Yeah. I guess.
I don't gotta sell for anybody. All right.
Yeah. Maybe you got a low blow coming your way, and I become Tanner's wise man.
Wow. What a way to go. That'd be something. Wouldn't it?
That'd be crazy.
What? Wow. What'd you think of this TLC main event, man? Doozy.
Yeah.
Prosthetic legs and shit, man. They're using prosthetic legs.
I thought that was awesome.
That rule. That wasn't a plan. That was just that happened.
I can't imagine they planned to do with the prosthetic leg in the ring. I think in the situation, maybe there was a discussion. I don't know, but I remember we talked about it last week. How this should have maybe been on WrestleMania, and I still feel that way. But it was dope.
Oh, so
you know what
good.
I mean? Like,
yeah, it was so good. That was a great,
they
great main event. They get that. Oh man. Dawkins doing the callback to the Edge and Jeff Hardy spear through the table on Ciampa, which was dope.
Beardless Ciampa.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, what a main event. What a main event. A lot of fun. And then there were a lot of, Zelina Vega.
Yeah, that was shocking.
Defeated Chelsea Green to become the new
that was another
women's
one.
U.S. title, U.S. champion.
Would have hit pretty well on WrestleMania, but I get it. The SmackDown after Mania, but yeah, how do we feel about that? Like, I really dug Chelsea. I hope this is a scenario where it's like, all right, Chelsea Green might challenge for some world championships.
Yeah,
but we'll see, or just keep going with this. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. And then we saw the return, and more importantly, with the old music, we saw the return of Aleister Black. He came out and during a Miz promo segment and gave Miz the Black Mass.
Because Miz was out there spewing his draft grades for the Browns, and Aleister Black
was like, you know what? I agree with JPJ. This he don't know shit. He don't know shit.
He broke down the Browns draft on TikTok. He was pretty insightful about it.
Oh, the Miz knows his stuff about football.
Yeah, the Miz is this is an open invitation ever to come on and talk football.
But here's my thing.
More than
when I say that nobody knows shit, I'm not discrediting the people that do that for a living. I'm just saying I have been watching football for 30 years, and I have heard you tell me that a lot of players were going to be good, and they suck. Okay? So you don't really know until we watch them play. There were certain guys, when Calvin Johnson got drafted, you knew that Calvin Johnson was going to be really good. There's certain guys right? But like, and then there's the other guys like Patrick Willis. I just threw that. I don't know why I threw that.
He was pretty good.
I know, but I'm saying here, like Luke Kuechly, right? He was a good middle linebacker. He went to Boston College, not a high-profile school. Nobody in the draft told me that he was going to be one of the greatest middle linebackers to ever play football. They just said, oh, he's a good player. He could be good.
Yeah.
And then he turns it, like, you know what I mean? Like, if he was going to be that good, you would have drafted him like 3rd overall. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Tim Tebow.
Everybody knew he was.
Everyone knew he sucked, except my guy, except Josh McDaniels. Again.
Except Josh McDaniels, but didn't they have a pick earlier? They passed on him, and they went back and got him. Yeah,
they went up and Not only did they take him in the first round, they gave away assets to move back into the first round.
And to be fair, I think he's the last Broncos quarterback to win a playoff game, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
Tanner, where are you at with that fact check, my guy?
Yeah. David, I don't know who that is, bro. Stick with the program, bro. But do you know, is that Dak's brother? Does Dak have a cousin in the league? I don't know. I'm just messing with you, David. So we saw that. We saw that happen.
And I thought, the SmackDown seemed like
Jacob fought too, and Drew McIntyre had a little that
would be fun.
A little crossy cross with LA Knight involved in things.
I was in and out I was in and out while I was at track.
Track. What are you putting on?
My son runs track, which oh my gosh. Can I tell you? Hopefully he doesn't hear this.
Does he watch the show?
Maybe, I don't know. Track invitationals are
they're very long.
They're the weirdest, longest, most unorganized thing I've ever been a part of. It was cold.
Yeah.
I'm watching SmackDown on my phone in the stands. My son runs the first event, a middle event, and the absolute last one, of course.
Yeah.
There's like they run all these things in 900 different ways, and it's all the same, but it's different. And it takes 25 minutes in between each. I'm like, can we speed this up?
Yeah.
It's cold. But anyway, yeah, I thought SmackDown was solid. I saw, with the Zelina Vega thing, I was like, okay. Now, I think that's going to be a bigger story. I think Chelsea's not just going to immediately leave Zelina.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Dustin, as I say, good to see. God to see.
I was going to say, yeah.
Fraxium got the call. Bolster that really dope division that they got going. Obviously, so you have that TLC match in the main event of SmackDown, and then the next morning I see you calling Fraxium up to the main roster. That, oh my God, could you imagine them in that match? What they could have done?
It would have been fun. It would have been fun.
Yeah. So hey.
Yep. Fernando saying his Bears passed on Mahomes, the stupidest move in NFL history. Yeah, Mahomes was taken 10th. Mahomes wasn't even the first quarterback taken in that draft because the Chicago Bears drafted Mitch Trubisky again. Nobody.
Nope, stop. Full stop. You got to stop. They didn't just draft Mitch Trubisky. They went from 3 to 2.
Yeah.
Knowing the Niners weren't going to take him.
Yeah.
Gave them some shit.
Yeah. Nobody knows shit, guys. All right. Nobody knows shit. All right. If you knew that Patrick Mahomes was going to be this Patrick Mahomes, how does he not go? Myles Garrett was number one. Definitely deserved.
That's right. Yeah.
Great player.
And then I like the Lawrence saying about Johnny Football. Yep.
Yeah. Like again, and I don't want to get back to Shador, but I think of guys like Tim Tebow and Johnny Manziel, who were taken in the first rounds of drafts when everybody kind of knew they weren't probably going to translate well.
Well, that's what happened, but there was just all the other off the field.
Not
off the field issues. Just the circuses again. That's his camp is a little. They're different.
Yeah.
They run things different, and it sounded like Dion was their agent because Shiloh came out after the draft and was like, my dad did a shitty job. I had to fire him because Shiloh went undrafted. He signed with the Bucks. His other son.
Because I know he was in the draft as well.
But he basically,
yeah. I don't know. It's just like again, like I trust that the people in the front offices of these teams have people around them that know their shit. I'm not saying they don't, but like again, like Mel Kiper telling me that fucking the Bears had an A- draft. Okay, all right. Well, they drafted 8 guys. Most likely 2 of them might be good.
Projected. It's projections. Yeah, it's just like fantasy football.
I know.
Or preseason polls.
And I get it. It's just for me. I'm just like, again.
Could you imagine if we were like,
nobody, like, it doesn't make sense.
Could you imagine if we came on here for WrestleMania and we're just like, we don't really know, so we're just gonna watch it.
No, but this is story. It's different. It's different.
So the NFL is all story too, man.
But again, so like Lawrence is saying, the one bad pick Howie made was Jalen Reagor. Okay. And Scott's saying that's dramatic. But again, at the moment that they make that pick, he was it's not. I remember that. You don't know that it was a bad pick until he's not on your team in 3 years and he stinks.
And
you only don't know in that moment. You don't know.
Yeah, and you don't know that Patrick Mahomes is going to be Patrick Mahomes.
Exactly.
Patrick Mahomes. Yeah.
Exactly. You can make a judgment, which I'm cool with. But when you come at me telling me that my Patriots had an A+ draft, great. I hope so. But I'm not going to say they had an A+ draft until I see these guys play. Because last year, you told me that Jalen Polk in the second round was an A- draft pick. That guy can't catch football. Cannot catch a football.
No.
That is no. I don't care what you have to say. I will make that judgment when I watch him play football. That's all.
GMJPJ.
It's just, and that's where I dive in heavy, and I'm like, yeah, okay, like you have your analysis. That's great. I hope you're right. I hope the Patriots did have an A+ draft. I really do. But I'll find out. I do think they did really good, though. That running back that we got from Ohio State's good. I like him a lot.
Henderson?
I like him a lot. Yep, I like him a lot. I think we took him too early. I'm always against drafting running backs high.
I think you took him because there was a run on running backs all of a sudden. You're like, if you don't get a guy now, you're not going to get a guy.
Well, so the talk around here was that we were going after an offensive lineman, and the Dolphins found out that we were going after the offensive lineman. So they traded to the pick right before us, and they took the offensive lineman. So then we took that running back. But again, that running back, I think, is a dynamic player. I think he was the better of both. Ohio State running backs were good. The other one, Judkins, went before him. I think Henderson's the better of the two. From the Ohio State games I watched, he was the more explosive, better of the two to me. Again,
they needed each other.
I would have taken Luther Bird in there. I don't know why we didn't. We need another receiver. He was there, and then the very next pick he was taken, and I was like, son of a bitch. Although the kid that we got in the third round, that Kyle Williams guy, I don't know much about him, but from what I've seen, he looks like we don't know until I see him play against the NFL players, but he looks like he could be good. This is why
you're currently watching an internal struggle with JPJ.
It just doesn't matter.
He wants to get high.
I'm watching him run routes against a guy that's going to be a fucking lawyer in 2 years. You know what I mean? Like I need to see him play against real dudes. Like he played in Washington State, one of two teams that are still in the Pac-12, which doesn't fucking exist. He was playing guys that are going to be in an office in a year. So how can I fully judge him about how he's going to be in the pros until I see him in the pros?
It's about projecting.
I get it.
Projection.
You said it right. It is my inner struggle. It is my inner struggle because I want to talk about these things, but I don't know shit. As much as I know shit, I don't know shit, Pluggo.
What do you know? How about that?
Wrestling. I know wrestling stuff.
Okay. What do we want to talk
about? Wrestling is the same 10 stories, just told in different ways. So it's easy to project in wrestling. The best friend's going to turn on somebody. The tag team partner is going to turn. It's easy. Yeah. I'm kidding. With that being said, the Patriots had the best draft.
Well, how about
everybody?
How about you do this? Why don't you project the future?
Oh,
because the reason that the tagline is "the future is bright." Seth brought it up a lot on Monday, but we have seen this surplus of like Braun Breaker's getting a big push. We're seeing Roxanne Perez and Julia integrated into the women's. Stephanie McCurr has wrestled on Raw
2 weeks in a row.
The future looks very bright. And again, we haven't seen CM Punk and Roman Reigns since they got laid out. And I think that, you know what I mean? They haven't leaned so heavily on old stars. I mean, yeah, we got the John Cena's of the world in the mix and all that, but it looks like they're starting to put some of this young upcoming talent in the mix.
Yep. It's good stuff, man. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm digging
fresh.
I'm digging what they're doing. Okay. So the Seth Rollins had that whole thing was 5 different segments on Raw.
Yeah.
So it basically was just throughout the show. They had the opening segment. Then there was the Heyman and Sami Zayn segment in the back. Then there was the Seth came back out for another promo segment. And then that led into the main event match with Sami Zayn and Braun Breaker. And then there was a post-main event match angle where they killed Sami Zayn.
Murdered.
So this had 5 different things happen throughout the show.
If I'm Sami Zayn, I would have took that deal hand over fist. I don't know why you're so proud that you're like, oh, guaranteed title shot, and I get to go to okay, I'm going to let you beat me up instead.
Yeah, I don't. And listen, Seth tried to give him the warning.
Seth's like, I like you.
Yeah, he's like, we're really good friends for a long time. Like, I love you, brother. Like, I'm getting you. I don't, because if you're not with me, you're gonna get ruined, and I don't want you to get ruined. So go to SmackDown, please. And I think he knew that Sammy wasn't going to accept, and so he sweetened the pot and said, okay, go get him a world title match. Because Sammy said it in the second promo where Sammy was like, you know that the world title is a soft spot for me because it's the one thing I haven't done. That's why you offered that to me, because you know that because of how close we are.
All Sammy has to do is, I mean, that's why you're in the business, to win championships, to win world titles. Go to SmackDown, get your title shot, and then come back.
But Sammy
there
said
was no rule that you had to go away forever.
No, but Sammy said it. He goes, if I win the title, Sammy's the ultimate baby. He's the
I
underdog baby face.
understand that, but
Yeah.
I'm saying, for me, I would have taken the deal and came back and kicked Seth.
Oh, Dustin, I think it's going even longer than that, man. I think Sami Zayn is winning the Royal Rumble in Saudi next year, and I think he will fight Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, who will be a champion by the time we get there, and Sammy will win the world title at WrestleMania against Seth Rollins. I think that's what they planted on Monday. I think that is what they planted on Monday as the start of the long-term story to Sammy finally winning his first world title next year at WrestleMania. And it will be against Seth Rollins. I think that's what started on Monday. Because Sammy's going to be gone now. He just came back, too, like 3 weeks ago. He just came back, and now he's murdered again. But I feel like that is kind of what the fact that they mentioned multiple times, Sammy himself said, I will be a champion someday. It's the one thing that's escaped me. I will. And he said it right at Rollins. Heyman wasn't out there. Braun wasn't out there. It was just him and Rollins. I was watching that, and I said, that's the match at Mania next year where Sammy wins the title against Seth. This is a foreshadowing of a long-term thing. And that's where we're going. Again, it's wrestling. It could happen in a month. But you know what? But I feel like that's I think we're going to get the Sammy Seth match before, like, because Seth is not a champion at this current moment. I don't think he will be for a little bit of time. I could see Seth winning that title at SummerSlam. Seth and Jay at SummerSlam.
Yeah, it's kind of like the NFL draft, Will Campbell's journey to his first Super Bowl.
He's going to fight and die.
Sammy will fight and die for world championships, but not on SmackDown, just Raw. He's going to Fridays. I got bingo night on Fridays. I can't have that. I can't have that messed up.
No. You got to keep the Fridays free.
And then I enjoyed Braun's, like, his mannerisms during this whole thing, where he just kind of like, he wasn't really jiving with what he wanted to just kick Sammy's ass, and Seth's like, no.
When Sammy started in the opening promo, when Sammy said something about Braun, I think he called him like his little dog. He goes, "Oh, you got your wise man, and you got your little dog." Braun just stared at Sammy, and he didn't change his facial expression the whole rest of the promo, to the point where they started to get out of the ring after that promo, and Braun was still just in the same, and Heyman had to be like, okay, like, it's okay, like, come on, like, it's okay. That popped me. That popped me big time.
And Sammy is the master of taking that Braun Breaker spear.
Oh, baby. All right, well, I want to talk about it because I have seen some discourse, and I think it's a fair thing of discourse. So at the end of the evening, so we have the opening promo where Seth basically, Sammy comes out. He says, I've known you for a long time, but, like, outside of the ring, you're one of my best friends. They're talking about when, like, Seth talks about when his daughter was born and shit. Like, they're getting personal and things like this. And Sammy goes, all this is crap. In here, what you're saying right now, it's all crap, Yeah. And then they get to the point where later on, Heyman shows up in the back with Sammy, and that's when they introduce the world title thing on SmackDown. Very Godfather, I'm going to offer an offer you can't refuse type situation back there.
And he refused.
No. Yeah. So then we get to the second promo where it's just Seth and Sammy. When Sammy tells him, I'm going to win a world championship someday, but he says, Sammy looks at him, he goes, you have known me for a long time. Have you ever known me to be somebody who runs away? And he goes, I'm not going to get threatened. I'm not going to get strong-armed. I'm not that type of guy. And when I win the world title, it's going to be the right way. And he goes, so go to hell.
Although, how powerful would it have been had he like that's the magnitude of Rollins and Breakers? Like,
I get it.
I'm just throwing that out there. Obviously, devil's advocate. I get it. Sammy,
But that immediately, to me, turns Sammy heel.
that he,
Sammy is not the same type of babyface.
are you a heel or are you a coward? Are you scared?
Well, if you're a coward, is that worse? Would you rather be a straight up bad guy or a
but
coward?
also, I'm so high on Sami Zayn that I think he could tell me a story to sell me the
100%.
reason he did it. So
1,000%.
I'm just throwing out different things because I get it.
Oh, I know. But 1,000%, Sammy could sell that to all of us because he's amazing.
Yeah.
And then it leads to a match with him and Braun, which that match was good. Everything was, and then they get to the stuff after, where in the match, Braun Breaker gives him 3 spears to the point where the ref has to call for a medic and just calls off the match because Sammy's dead, right?
Yeah.
And then Sammy kind of gets rolled out of the ring. All the agents and the doctors are out there, and Seth looks at Braun and he gives him a nod, and he basically says he made his bet. He gives him a nod.
Yeah.
And he does the super spear, a 4th spear. Then they get in the ring, and the doctors are still looking at Sammy, and Seth is in the corner with Braun, and he leans in and he goes, he made his bed, and he has to live with it. And he gives him the stomp.
Yeah.
And then you have Heyman, Braun, and Seth standing tall over Sammy to end Raw. The ultimate underdog babyface who everybody loves, and the crowd is chanting one more time.
It's because people aren't necessarily like they're not anti-Seth right now. Like he was getting cheered after he
Is
won
that a
Mania.
problem though?
They're gonna. It depends. It really depends on how they want to go with it. I mean, that's not an apples and oranges comparison. But the NWO got cheered because they were cool bad guys. Maybe he's a. I don't know yet because he is. Obviously, feeding him Sami Zayn this early on was like they're trying to establish that it's a heel action that
best
we
friend
aren't going to like. But again, if you also think about it, Seth beat Roman Reigns, who has a good contingent of people that were sick of him.
Oh, yeah.
He beat CM Punk, who has a big contingency of people that are sick of him, right? Like, it wasn't like he beat these uber baby faces that are universally over and loved by everyone. So yeah, I don't know, and we'll see. And it is kind of cool right now. Like Braun Breaker's a perfect fit for this. Paul Heyman. So we'll see. But yeah, it was like, oh yeah, they definitely have a I don't know who they would feed to Seth next week to get like Otis or something. R-Truth, if he looks like murders R-Truth, maybe we'll boo him.
I don't know. R-Truth had a segment with John Cena on SmackDown.
Good for R-Truth getting to hang out with his childhood hero.
Right?
Happy for that guy.
So again, I'll tell you what though.
Those doctors and medics though need to be fired because they were like propping Sammy up in the perfect positions to take curb stomps and spears.
Yeah.
You guys got to protect your patient, my guy.
Yeah. I'll tell you what though, they got to change Seth's song, man.
That's part of it too.
You can't have the people singing his fucking song if he's going to be this evil bad guy.
But he had that when he was when he turned heel. He's had it the entire time.
I know, but I feel like
because they would sing along even when he was a heel back then.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, but it's such an iconic song that would be huge to. That'd be a move. That'd be a decision. I don't know.
Maria, I thought he should have done that immediately. I thought that should have been the next thing that John Cena did after he turned on. Like he should have done that on the way to May. Like he should have turned on Cody, had that first promo that explained everything, and then I would have even done it that night at the end of that promo. R-Truth come out and be like, "What? Say it ain't so," and he just should have murdered R-Truth.
Yeah, maybe so.
Before he even won the title.
Maria had a great question. She asked if we think Braun is better than Rick and Scott Steiner. Accolades wise, no. Yeah. Steiner brothers as a tag team, no. But
he has potential to be super.
But
young.
He's more. I think he's more agile in the ring and has a could do maybe a little bit more. Don't get me wrong. I was a big Papa Pump guy.
I was gonna say Scott Steiner was very good.
But he was also was a very limited move. He was a big guy. He just
early on he was not limited.
No,
like
yeah,
Steiner brothers, Scott Steiner was like doing fucking Frankensteiners and shit.
Well, and
like
then
he was legit.
And then Rick turned out to be a bum. So
yeah, he turned out to be a bum human.
But as a wrestler,
when all is said and done, Braun will be the most successful of all of them. I expect him to be a multi-time world champ. I expect him to be a Hall of Fame level guy. But yeah.
When you're in the chat, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, share it out, send a super chat if you'd like.
Do it.
Tell us who should join this. Justin wants to know if this faction gets a name or not, but who should join these guys? Who should they add? Should they expand their enterprise? And who should 100%. It be? Let us know in the chat.
I mean, I have who I wanted. Well, all right. Well, we're going to talk about who I wanted to be a little bit later because we have to talk about that person. Because my favorite thing on Raw involved that person.
It's Lyra Valkyria.
The person that was opposite of her. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know if maybe it was Lyra.
Dude, brother. I have been waiting to hear that from Lyra Valkyria.
Yeah.
The whole time she's been on the main. I have been waiting for that moment for her.
Can I take another approach to this?
Yeah.
Good on Becky Lynch, by the way.
Hell yeah. I love this whole thing. This was my favorite. This was one of my
I
favorite
say this because you're Becky Lynch. I love you. We all love you. You're an all-time great. You're one of the best to ever do it. You could have said, hey, I'm coming back for no less than Tiffany Stratton or Io Sky. I'm Becky fucking Lynch. I want to be there. She said, no. I want to work, which it does make sense. They're countrymen. There's a story there, but I want to work with the IC title winner. I want to work with Lyra. I want to do it, and I'm going to go heel.
Yep.
And guess what we did in 1 week?
We made Lyra Valkyria.
We made Lyra Valkyria important enough where I go, there's something more to this girl than just, hey, I come out, I'm a good wrestler. And I'm
a bird.
I'm a bird. And we say that in jest, and we don't mean
obviously we're kidding.
She's fantastic, but they have done absolutely nothing with her to make me invested. And guess what? She proved to me on Monday that she's going to be able to hold her own with Becky. And she probably will retain at Backlash because I don't think Becky I don't even think Becky, quote unquote, Hogan that people on the internet say about her would want that decision to happen.
Oh, I disagree.
You think Becky Lynch is taking the IC title the first try?
Yes. Yes, I do.
You finally that would be like the War Raiders New Day thing. You're finally building me up a team.
Here's what's gonna happen.
All right.
Here's what's gonna hear me out.
I hope you're wrong.
Hear me out.
And I love Becky Lynch.
Hear me out. Okay.
I'm hearing.
Becky is gonna win the IC title at Backlash, and she's going to do it in very heel fashion, and she's going to hurt Lyra Valkyria, and Bayley is going to come to the rescue, and we are going to get a major IC title feud between Becky and Bayley, because Becky admitted that she was the one that attacked Bayley in this promo before Lyra got out there. She said, I attacked Bayley. So that is going to be the major IC title feud that we get out of. Now, hear me out. There is an end game. Trust me. And I think Monday, again, Triple H loves his long-term storytelling, so that's where my brain goes. That's where my brain goes. So
Shep's in the house. You licking your wounds there, bud? Yeah. Pluggo have no clue. You have no championship in your stable. My bad. I'm sorry.
Anyway,
go on.
So here's what's going to happen. Becky wins the IC title at Backlash. She does so very dastardly. She's beating up Lyra Valkyria after the match. Bayley's music hits. Bayley comes out for the save. We get a Bayley-Becky feud that will culminate in an IC title match at Evolution 2. Got it? That's the one in July, right? Becky is going to beat Bayley in that feud. And then I believe at SummerSlam, Lyra Valkyria will beat Bayley to get the IC title back. Fully making Lyra Valkyria.
But what do you do with Lyra during that whole time?
I personally think
you just gave her some meat on her bones. You just gave her something.
Yep.
And you're going to, next week, we're going to be talking about Becky and Bailey until July.
I mean, if you wanted Lyra to win the first one and then Becky wins it right after that, like at the next one, I'm cool with that.
That's what I'm saying. Her first major feud, her first major title defense, and I think Bailey gets involved and either helps Lyra retain or is so enraged with Becky that she gets into it with Becky, and that kind of pisses Lyra off, and maybe we get some kind of triple threat thing. I don't know, but anyway.
I just think
Shep,
Becky,
you can say all the trash you want. Title's over here, my guy. Title's on this show, not your show.
Yeah, it's true.
And let's be honest here. And listen, I don't want to be that guy. I don't usually am that guy, but had I not reached out to the Kicking Out podcast months and months and months and months and months ago and had him on Beards, Tanner, this whole thing might not have ever happened. So I'm like the spark that ignited JPJ becoming champion. You guys don't have any gold. JPJ's got all the gold. You guys need to be better to Paul. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Yep.
So, if anything, you're welcome. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I don't hate that. I don't hate what you said because obviously I think Becky and Bailey would be a feud that could beat.
And I think that listen, I think Becky and Bailey in a feud for the IC title elevates the IC title.
I think they just have a problem with like, let's heat up this baby face. Oh, I could do anything, and then you have them lose. It's one of those things where I'm always like, the first loss is going to stick with me longer. That yeah, she can win it back, but that first shot you had where you started to cook with gas and you lost right away, and you're an up and comer. I think you gotta figure out a way to keep it on Lyra at least until. So it goes. What it's going to go.
Backlash is like next week.
Backlash is next week. So what's the June? Money in the Bank is in July, right? Evolution.
But they're doing Evolution too. The rumor
there's nothing. There's nothing in June. No, it's back. It's Money in the Bank in June, and then
Money in the Bank I think is in June.
Last year.
Although they could be doing one of those things where like July 5th is early in July, so maybe they have a second one later. In July.
Yeah.
In June. At the end of May, they're also doing a Saturday night's main event as well, which into it as well. So maybe they have the match at Backlash. Lyra retains, and then they somehow have a rematch a couple weeks later at Saturday night's main event, and that's where Becky wins. Maybe. And then
maybe
I do think Bailey and Becky are in a massive IC title feud is the feud that comes out of this. But then I do think at the end that Lyra gets they're going to put Lyra over. Becky and Bailey started this story, and their job is to elevate the IC title and put Lyra Valkyria over. And I think that they started well. Now that listen, that promo that Lyra cut. And they were wutting her at the beginning of it, those pieces of shit. They were wutting her in the beginning of it, and then by the end of it, they were not wutting her because she won that shit over. That was a great promo by her. And when she was like, I don't want to be the next Becky Lynch, I want to be the first Lyra Valkyria. And she was like, I want to be a better person than you. And I already know. She was like, I already know I'm a better wrestler than you. I was like, oh yeah, let's go, Lyra. That fucking ruled. That segment was great. I very much enjoyed that.
Well, yeah, we'll see how it goes out, but it was cool. It was a very good time. I had a good time.
Yeah, I had a really, really good time.
I gotta be honest with you. I thought the ladies stole the show.
They were the best part of Raw.
And then Ivy Nile and Stephanie Vakir had no business being as good as it was. Good on them to give them time, and good on Ivy for stepping up. And I hate this. Probably one of the bigger matches she's ever had.
Mm-hmm.
And
she was excellent in that match, Ivy Nile.
Hey!
What?
Goose is Maybe honk. What's up, Kyle?
I thought Ivy Nile deserved some praise for that match because she was excellent in that match. We also had Nick Aldis.
Hold on. I just want to put this on the screen so that we can show our good buddy Paul just the absolute disrespect that he gets as one of the members of the Kicking Out podcast. Paul, we value you and your picks, and we think that if it wasn't for you, Shep and Tanner need to take a look in the mirror. Not you.
Listen, if it wasn't for Paul, this title would have been in my possession weeks earlier.
Yeah, and we would have held it for longer.
Paul allowed you guys to look at this thing and still claim
Yeah.
it was yours for longer than it should have been.
Yeah, Paul, you were the opposite of trash.
Yeah. Tanner and Shep didn't make it to the playoff picks round at WrestleMania. Paul did.
Yeah.
Who also had a perfect record at Dynasty as well. I know I'm talking about me winning the perfect record, but Paul also had a perfect record that evening as well. That's why we had to do the WrestleMania picks, where he just couldn't get to my level because very few people are.
Yeah. And it sounds like you guys manipulated you infiltrated his picks with your picks, and Anyway.
I'm just saying. Nick Aldis was there for the evening. Pierce had the night off. So Aldis was running Raw.
I love McAfee going, "Hey, guy that's supposed to be Adam Pierce, make the match."
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that because that was a big part of the show.
Yeah, I'll just say this. I'll preface this by saying I know that there is a certain group of people that just don't like Pat McAfee for things
Canadians.
That things like Pat McAfee says, does, yada, yada, yada. But if you take a look at it strictly in a vacuum, who the hell doesn't want a guy like Pat McAfee in your corner going, I will go up against the baddest dude in WWE because he looked at my guy Michael Cole wrong. He tried to put hands on my dude, and guess what? I want a match. We all need friends like Pat McAfee. That's all.
Yeah.
Ain't no chance he's winning. He's gonna get murdered.
Oh no, he shouldn't. If he does,
if he rolls up Gunther,
that would be a horrific decision. Horrific. That would be horrific.
Do we need to watch? Do we need to do like a watch along or something? Just so
is he supposed to be like taking time off soon or something? Because I know because I would think he's gonna get. It's not gonna be a squash. Like he's gonna get some shit in, but like I would expect Gunther to kind of by the end of that match handle business, and like take him out a little bit.
Well, I don't know McAfee's day-to-days, and I know he does College Game Day and stuff, but that's not till the fall. So I don't imagine, unless he's got something going on where he just wants to take some time.
Yeah.
They give him like a month or a couple months. I don't know McAfee's schedule like that.
Yeah.
What's coming up? I mean, the NFL isn't starting yet either. Baseball, he doesn't do. I don't know.
Yeah,
couldn't tell you.
Just kind of like
his college break, Maria, doesn't generally start until around July.
June, I was gonna say June or July. Like this would be next week.
He probably takes July. He probably starts near the end of July to get prepped for game days and whatnot. And then he's on the road every Saturday.
Yeah,
but even then, he's on the road every Saturday. He could make Monday Night Raw.
Easily.
So we'll see.
Yeah, so I thought overall, this was a good promo by McAfee. I thought it was a smidge long, like when he was, I felt like he just should have stuck to the "I did it for Michael Cole" shtick when he started talking about like, oh, when I die, I hope they say I worked. And I don't give a shit when you die. I don't care. Why do I care about that? Oh, you worked hard. You were a fucking punter.
Maybe that's the last promo he's ever going to cut because he's about to get just absolutely murdered on Saturday. Right? Next Saturday.
A week from Saturday.
Next Saturday.
I don't know. I think the match will be entertaining. I expect Gunther by the end of it to maybe take his life. So that's probably what's going to happen. All right, last question. Well, not last question about Raw, but Jey Uso and Logan Paul. That's what we're doing, huh? I got into a disagreement with Drew earlier. I actually think this is like kind of a perfect opponent for Jey Uso as like his first defense because everybody hates Logan Paul.
And Drew doesn't like Logan Paul, so he doesn't have anything to do.
Yeah. So, but I feel like this is actually like a perfect opponent for Jey. Like it'll be an entertaining match because of Paul's athleticism and he'll do some cool stuff, but it's a guy almost everybody is gonna want to see Jey Uso beat.
But it's also a guy that everybody has this percent chance that they're going, oh, they love Logan Paul, they're going to put him over.
Yeah.
So it's perfect because Jay's not losing his first title defense, but there's that seed of like, oh, will they do it? Because Logan Paul gets in these spots and he loses quite a bit. When's he going to get his? I don't know.
Oh, he's going to be a world champion at some point, and there's going to be a lot of people upset about it.
But as we have learned over the last, I'll just say year here, they don't care what you like and what you don't like.
No,
They want you to just shut up and watch the show.
correct. Just sit down and take it.
So
Just sit
from
down
now,
and take it.
if we took that mentality, we would just sit here for 2 hours, not say a word about WWE. You'd just be like, "Hey, what's up?"
Yep. Yep.
So do I hate it? No, I don't hate it from the standpoint of I think it'll be a solid match. I think they'll be good on the mic at least for another week or so, and then. But yeah, I mean, I'm not overly like pumped about it, but I think it'll be good.
Yeah, it's gonna be fine. Like
So
again, I don't like him personally, but like
It's Logan Paul.
yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is.
I don't even know if at the end of the day Logan Paul likes Logan Paul. But that's not for me. That's not for me to decide.
What are you talking about? Logan
You
Paul
don't think he ever has some inner dialogue where he sits in front of the mirror and goes, "You know what? Maybe
Nope.
I am."
Does he strike you as somebody who would do that? He strikes you as somebody who knows exactly who his character is exactly who he is.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
There is not a humble. We're talking about humbling earlier with Shadua Sanders. There is not a humble bone in that motherfucker's butt.
If Logan Paul was in the draft, he would have been a 7th round pick.
There is not a humble. No, probably not.
He
probably would have been a top 10 pick.
Yeah,
and he would have fucking not shut up about it for the rest of his goddamn life. Again. I don't think that guy wakes up and has a bad day because in his brain, he's the best at all times.
As we make real quick, we don't have to spend a ton of time on the episode overall, but can you make sense of NXT for me?
What do you want to talk about? I loved NXT this week.
I loved it. I'm saying we don't have to break everything down. I just they just break up the metaphor.
I didn't like that. I did not like
about it.
That made me sad.
And then, is Jordan Grace locked in as the one that beats Stephanie Vicker, and then Stephanie's going to go to Raw?
All right. So we'll kind of, because we did mention in passing that Stephanie Vicker fought second week in a row on Raw,
and to not only she killed
over.
it, and everybody in that arena loved it.
Yeah, she came out. And it was very immediate that it was like, oh, she's like over. Like, she's like getting one of the. I don't know how Triple H can't be in the back and go, okay, like she just needs to be up here now. Like she's immediately like a star.
Screw it. Her, Julia, and Roxy. Just make them.
All of them.
That's your Raw women's roster. That's with Rhea and Becky and Lyra and Bailey. Like, and talk about just like that would
Becky,
be.
You said Becky, right? You said Becky.
Yeah. Becky, Bailey, Lyra, Io. I forgot about Io, which is I'm not even trying to be that guy, but yeah, like you start. Yeah, no, I didn't mean it like that. I just meant like, oh my God, there's that'd be a loaded women's division.
Yeah,
and you still got some women in NXT to work with. So I don't know. You tell me. You make sense of this for me, JPJ, because it seems like they have a not a problem, but they've got an excess of riches that they got to figure out what to do with. Bryce, what's good, dude? Bryce, I usually see on Saturday mornings, but what's up, my man? He said he saw Stephanie in Vegas. She is so over 100%.
100%. Yeah, I mean, I think that's what you do. I think you strap it to Jordan Grace. You let Jordan Grace run the NXT women's division down there for a little bit because Stephanie, I would love them to bring all of those women up. It feels like they're doing some sort of tag team or the start of a stable with Julia and Roxanne potentially. But like, yeah, man, Stephanie is immediately a giant star. Immediately, upon arrival.
I think had they known that they knew that she was going to be good and that she had the potential, that's why they signed her. But I think if they would have known that she was going to be this good and this over, I don't even think she would have made it to NXT.
No,
because it's not. It's like, and I don't know about everybody else, but like the NXT home base is very passionate and they get behind their people. And then it's truly, you'll see how people feel about certain wrestlers when they get outside of the NXT bubble. Mm-hmm. And Stephanie's one of those. It's insanity. So I think they got to make the move quicker than later. I don't know what you do with her per se when she gets to the main roster. If you immediately have her go right at Io, which I think would be great. They teased it last week, but
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think there's no way you can. I just think there's no way she can't be on the show almost weekly from this point out. With even with those
future
two,
is bright, man.
yeah, I don't think there's a way you can do that. The metaphor thing very much upset me.
I'm not the biggest metaphor person, but I just was like,
They were a good group. They were fun.
yeah, they were fun, but I was
Yeah.
like, give me something more than, hey, we're all gonna go be the single
Yeah, and
stars.
Noam Dar literally just came back last week. So he just comes back. It's like, oh shit, he's been out for so long. Yeah. All right, cool. He just comes back. He wins back the Heritage Cup immediately. And it's like, fuck yeah, we're back. And then the very next week, they're like, fuck you, man.
Lash is like, I'm out.
Yeah, she's like, I'm going to the main roster. I'm going to get drafted in like a month. So piss off. That's what she's like, see you later. You go to Evolve. You go over here. You do. See ya. I'm going to be on SmackDown in 4 weeks.
Let's not be a super dominant or super fun dominant tag team or faction on NXT. Go hang out and Evolve. or get out of here, dude.
That was my thing. It was like, when you were gone, it's time for Aura Menza to shine. And he needs to do so on Evolve. What?
He's going to hang out with Swipe Right.
First of all, great tag team name.
Yeah,
what a fucking name. What a name.
They're in aren't they in the Battle Royal?
They're in the Battle Royal, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, next week we got a 25-man Battle Royal to determine the number one contender for Oba.
And then Undertaker.
Putting him over again, bro. But then he's bringing his LFG dudes up.
He put him over, but then he goes, yeah, it's still your yard, but these dudes are coming.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. All right, Taker.
Calm down, buddy. I company guy. I get it.
Through and through. You know what, though? Trick Williams. I've been saying it for 2 months, Pluggo.
Yeah.
I've been saying it for 2 months. Trick Williams is the leader of Dark State, bro. He is.
Yeah, well, they definitely hit it over the head when they immediately he called out Trick and Dark State immediately came out. They didn't even hesitate. I don't even think Vic Joseph got Dark State out of his mouth completely before the lights cut.
Yep.
So
I've been yelling about it, saying Trick Williams is gonna be the leader of Dark State.
Can we get somebody to oil up Trick Williams' back?
Why?
He was very shiny, and then every time he turned, dull. Like he was all oiled up for the muscles in the front, and then he turned, and I couldn't look away.
Wow.
Maybe
that's not what I'm looking at. I'm not keeping a keen eye on that.
I just happened to notice he's
he's
half shiny, half dull. We gotta even it out.
Fair enough.
But he cut a really good promo too. Trick's one of those guys I was absolutely wrong on from the beginning. So if I was Mel Kiper Jr. and I was like, Trick Williams, he's Mello's mouthpiece. That's all he'll be. He's not really got that, and now he's like flipped the script that he is fantastic. So
yeah.
Who wins the Battle Royal?
Well, so it's 25. Oh, Shep, we'll talk about that. So there's 25 guys. Let me pull up the graphic because I think there's only 22 on the screen.
There's only 22 or 23 mentioned. There's 2 open spots. Joe Hendry is in this thing, I believe.
Yeah. I loved Vic Joseph at the beginning, and like the second he mentioned his name, the music hit, and he was like so excited. He was like, "Oh, it worked!" And they're all flipping out. It worked. Made me laugh.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
I like it.
Yeah. It's gonna. The only thing that's gonna make me sad though is that Booker T is not gonna be at the commentary table when Stephanie Vaquer hits that move.
I'm okay with it.
I'm not. That is part. She points at him now.
I know.
And
they call it out on Raw too. They're like, "Your Booker's not here for this."
Oh, it's the best. It's the best. Like the fact that she points at him and he just once she does the point, he just goes, "Oh," like he knows it's coming and he's so excited. I'm like, "Come on, Book!" Oh, makes me laugh. I love it.
Javon's in there. We said Swipe Right's in there.
Yeah,
Ethan Page.
Joe. The no quarter catch crew.
I think all the Dark State guys are in there as well.
Yeah.
I'm not. Yeah. No, wait, no. Are they? They could be. Are they on the picture?
I gotta look at the graphic. But do we think they go somebody new? Because obviously, like
this is to challenge Obafemi at Battleground, which is at the end of the month.
Yes.
It's part of that 4-day May extravaganza weekend in Tampa, right? I believe.
Yes, that is the
Yeah.
Sunday night. They're doing
Yeah.
Saturday night's main event. Then they're doing
SmackDown, Saturday, Battleground, Raw.
Raw.
So they're doing a
That's what
4.
they're doing.
So, do they do someone to Trick? I mean, Ava pretty much was like, she wasn't having Trick thinking he earned the spot, so she made the Battle Royal.
All right, so here's who I see. We got the 3 no quarter catch crew. We have Lexus King. We have Wesley. It could be Wesley. We have the 2 guys that are with with Wesley, like his dudes, right?
Yeah.
We have Sean Spears' group. So him and those 2, Brooks and the other Nico. Nico's the other guy.
Eco.
We got Ridge Holland. We got
Okay.
Javon Evans.
Okay.
We have Eddie Thorpe. We have Swipe Right. We have Ethan Page. We have Josh Briggs and Iwanora. We have Trick Williams, and we have Timothy Thatcher.
Oh yeah, and then Joe Henry's not announced, but I think he'll enter somehow.
Yes, and
Although
then there's 2 guys that.
He's in a 6-man with Hank and Tank next week.
Yes, he is. It's him and Hank and Tank versus Dark State. So I don't think he's going to be in that.
So yeah,
I think
unless
Trick
he
Williams
does
is gonna be
double
fighting-
duty.
Yeah, I mean, Bryce, I respect your opinion. For me, there's never enough Trick. But I think Trick is going to be fighting Joe Hendry for the TNA title. I think.
Can I just be honest and say none of those options excite me? So who are these 3 spots that are open? Not that they're not good options. It's a lot we've seen before.
Mhm.
If you're going to go someone different, is it a TNA? Do they have somebody else in TNA that maybe?
It could be. It could be a TNA. It could be. What if Undertaker's LFG guys are one of the?
I think they're already pictured.
Oh, are they? That makes sense
thought.
because there's 2 or 3 guys that I have no fucking idea.
Unless
about.
that is the guys that fill the spots, but then again, I don't know. When Taker did that and they panned over Big Oba Femi and those 3 LFG guys, I just went, "Come on, Take, come on." They might be something special. I don't watch any LFG because there's only so much time in the day. I should probably binge watch it. But
I've heard it's not bad. I haven't watched it either.
I mean, obviously Joe Hendry could enter double duty. Whoever Ricky Saints could. I don't think they'd put him in there, even though because I don't think they want to muddy that water, so to speak.
I mean, Javon Evans would make sense. You can get the 1-on-1 match with Javon and Oba because they were in the triple threat, which was great.
Yeah,
that could get Javon the 1-on-1. I could see that. I also could see if it's not Trick Williams leading Dark State, I could see Javon as the other guy as the leader. If they go that route, I don't know. It's been a while that Dark State's been around, and they still haven't given. I'm going to stick with Trick.
Stacks in this thing.
Tony D. Neither of them because they're dealing with each other. Because Stacks turned on the family.
Yeah, he turned on the family. I mean,
damn,
he was ready. He said, "I'm done with this."
Son of a bitch.
He didn't like the way Tony D was running things. I
get it. Listen, you don't always see eye to eye.
Javon would be fun. Cameron Grimes should come back to NXT. That'd be dope. But
yeah, I'm trying to think of like if there's been any people that have been out on NXT, like on the men's side of thing, that could be close to returning. Nobody's coming to my mind.
Is there anybody on the main roster that would maybe dip down to have a program with Oba, where you could be, you know what I mean? Kind of like what they did Becky Lynch. She came down. Dolph Ziggler when he came down.
I mean, I would love something like that. I don't think anybody pops. I don't think anybody pops in my mind, really. But I mean, yeah, they could easily do that. Like, who's Omos? Wow, Dustin pulling out Omos. That would be him and Oba. That would be big meaty men slapping meat. That would be one of the only situations. David, keep it serious, Jesus. Thanks for being here, David. But do you pay attention to anything? You just say random shit.
I like the off the wall ideas, but not Ryback. Can we just keep away from that?
We don't need Ryback anywhere near here.
Let me guess, Goldberg.
I'm convinced that David doesn't even watch the shows. I just think he shows up and just says the most random shit every time.
I respect it, but it's crazy.
Yeah.
Austin Theory, Shep.
We want people to watch Battleground.
Yeah, but that's not terrible to enter.
I like Austin Theory.
That's not terrible an idea to enter, but I think we already did that with that Austin and
Yeah,
Grayson?
I'm trying to think of like those guys on the main roster that could like dip down.
Hold on. Rewind, reset. Say. Oh, Shep, Austin Theory, and then you said you want people to watch Battleground.
Yes.
To which, no wonder you don't keep championships at the KOP because you make off the wall comments like that, Shep. Austin Theory, really? Look at that. Look at my guy. Looks good in gold, doesn't he? Yeah, we'll see who wins the Battle Royal. We'll see who takes on Big Obafemi. I think it's another, whoever it is. It's just, I don't know who beats Oba. Just don't know.
Yeah.
Moose, we already did that. So
We did the Moose thing.
We did the Moose thing. I don't know.
What about Lexus King?
He just lost his heritage.
Yeah.
He just lost
LA
his
Knight.
heritage cup.
Dustin throwing out LA Knight.
Hey, comes down and yeah, that could be interesting. And he could carry the weight of the promos if they wanted to do that for a couple of weeks. Yeah, I'm open to ideas here. I'm open to suggestions.
Yeah, I am too. It already happened, David. See, this is what I'm talking about.
I think he's just messing with you. He's got to be just
messing with me. He's messing with me.
He's got to be messing.
Literally happened like a fucking month ago. Pay attention to the shows, David. Why are you here?
Because he's a great fan who smashes that like button,
okay.
subscribes.
Yes. Yes, yes, he is.
And he
Talking
shares
about shit that already. I wish I could see that one day. Go on fucking YouTube. You can see it.
Peacock. It's on there right now.
Easily see it because it literally happened.
Oh, Dustin with an interesting. He said he stepped with. Might not have mentioned this, but Jeff Cobb potentially joining. If that's already a done deal, that'd be an interesting place to debut him.
I believe it's been reported that he's going right to the main roster, though.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah, I don't know.
That'd be a good one. Jeff Cobb would be a good one. He'd debut with an L, though.
What
about Rusev?
Listen, Scott, you started to subscribe to the JPJ's theory of no fun, where you're like, Trick's winning, don't be so. We got to come up with some other ideas, man. We can't.
I don't think Trick's winning because I think at Battleground, Trick's going to be fighting Joe Hendry for the TNA Championship.
I know, but I'm just saying, if we were just like Trick's the winner, that's it. Don't be silly. Don't have fun. Jeff Cobb tonight said that he's retired. Did he say that?
He's faking everybody.
Yeah, he's pulling the salmon jacket.
Yeah, he's faking everybody.
Speaking of retirement, Shep, we might retire the Kicking Out Wrestling Podcast Championship because I don't think it's going anywhere.
Oh, this is never leaving.
Ever again. So it might we might have to rename it and rebrand it the Between Two Beards Predictions Championship.
Maybe. You never know.
I can't believe they sent you that belt thinking you're ever going to give it back.
I mean, once it was in my possession, I knew that I'm going to be the longest reigning KOP champion.
You're reigning, defending
in history.
Kicking Out Podcast champion.
In history. That is what that's going to be. Bro, David's been in my chats for fucking months, bro.
David's the man. No, tonight though, he's been in the chats before, but tonight he's on it.
This is all he does on Firmly, bro. We'll be talking about something, and he just says shit that has nothing to do with anything we're talking about. And we're like, all right, man, yeah,
that's
just fucking go, man. Just go, have a time.
But Firmly.
You said Shep, you said you were going to send me some other goodies with it, and I didn't get any other goodies with it, bro. I didn't get any other goodies. Karrion Kross would be a good one. That'd be fun.
Carry, but I think
him and AJ though is spitting.
Yeah, I think we're gonna stick with that for a while.
Yeah, Karrion Kross would be fun.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways they could go. There's
three spots still open, but there's also the potential for other things. You know, NXT parking lots are dangerous.
It's a true story. It's
so
a true story. They are. Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah, I can't think of anybody else. How'd you feel about
put Zarya in that thing?
Yeah, how'd you feel about your boys Hank and Tank? Do you like Hank and Tank?
I do like Hank and Tank. They give me vibes of like just. I just love it. It's just silly. It's goofy.
I get Public Enemy vibes.
I just get energy, but Oh yeah, Grande Americano. He could make his way down there.
That is true.
Debut in NXT.
That is true. That is true.
I knew
could
that.
happen.
I knew Hank and Tank were winning the tag titles. And then
Yeah.
they got Joe Hendry's back. That's an interesting group.
Yeah. Anything else happen on NXT that was fun? Carmen Petrovic left her man's. That happened.
Yeah, she just kicked him in the face. I mean, who hasn't been kicked in the face by their lady before?
Yeah.
This is Pluggo be beating on me all the time, dude. I'm still with her. Work it out.
Yeah, it's fair. She kicks you in the face like that? Yeah.
No, she doesn't.
Wow.
Where's the disclaimer that says this is for entertainment purposes only?
Yeah.
Where's our banner?
Yeah.
She's tough.
Is she?
This is Pluggo? Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Liv Morgan. Movie star.
Yeah, Liv Morgan's a movie star, tag team champion. Sounds like she's gonna go. I love that Dom was like, I get to go away too, right? And I like how all this was like, yeah, Liv, you can take your time, but then he's like, Dom, your workload doubled.
Yeah, you're the champ now.
But so is Liv. But he was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Nick Aldis from I would have liked to have seen him like them throw even more just backstage chaos at him and like this is what Pierce deals with every Monday night. Because like no wonder Pierce is losing his mind. You guys are nuts. Like he kind of hinted at it a little bit during the where he came out and he was like, I have the it was during the Pat stuff.
Yeah.
He kind of hinted at it where he's like, yeah, I know I'm not like Pierce. I'm not just gonna make decisions all willy-nilly, but I would have loved for him to kind of play that up, especially if they're going to do a draft. I would have loved him like really be like, yeah, no wonder people want to come to SmackDown.
Yeah, agreed.
No wonder I got Seth and Heyman in my ear trying to, send people my way or whatever, just something. But that's splitting hairs.
Yep. It did look like on Raw they're potentially setting up as AJ Styles will be the first challenger for Dom in his IC title.
Even though he beat Penta on the Raw after Mania. So it'd be his second challenger.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Roasted!
Wait, that was for the title?
I thought so.
Okay.
I could be wrong. I
didn't know. You're probably right. I knew they fought.
I just remember them.
That's when JD McDonough came back, but I didn't know it was for the title.
Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. I'm just talking. I'm just trying to be right.
Speaking of, though.
Yeah.
The Judgment Day, they were kind of littered throughout the show as well. Finn shows up in the back and he's like, he didn't know JD was coming back. And he's like, hey, man. He kind of pulls him aside and he goes, the fuck didn't you tell me that you were coming back? How come I didn't know? All these guys knew. I didn't know. What the hell?
I'm telling you.
We're boys here, bro.
When wrestlers are out, for some reason, they do not communicate ever with any of their wrestling buddies.
Yeah.
It's like that friend at work that you have at work, but you don't ever talk.
Yeah, that's right. Just work buds.
Yeah, work buds. And then when one of you leaves the company, you never talk again, but you always had those moments. It's kind of what
I went through that. I literally went through that when I left my prior job. I was there for 11 years. I had like 3 or 4 people that I talked to every day for hours a day.
Yeah.
I talked to them. And the second I left, for like the next couple of weeks, we went out for a beer once.
Yeah.
And then I never talked to him. And I was like, that person was like a person that I literally talked to almost every day for like 6 years.
I just told my work bestie that. I go, dude, if either one of us ever leave, you're never going to talk to me again. Let's not even beat around the bush, dude.
Yeah. It's just crazy how that happened. Like, you're just like, oh, well, I don't work there now. So I guess this person that I was like good friend, I literally talked to him more than I talked to my family.
That's how
for the last 8 years. See ya. Never talk to them ever again.
Apparently that's how wrestlers operate. They just, when they're not in the universe, they don't talk to each other. And then they come back and they're like, what the heck, man?
Yeah. And then it led to Finn and JD teaming up against oh my god. Who the hell did they fight? For the love of God. The War Raiders. And they lost.
Oh, I was gonna say it was the night wrong.
They lost. JD McDonough got the pin. And it just makes me think that is Finn gonna be the babyface coming out of this?
Do you want to like Liv Raquel and Dom as they are right now, where they're just snark. You don't want to.
I mean,
like
I
them.
want to like Dom. I feel like I
David, that's the first thing you've said tonight that I'm like, you know what? That would be pretty funny.
100%.
Dude,
Yeah,
yeah,
because that's probably him being real right there.
yeah.
He's not doing the shtick.
I like that. Sammy gets drafted to SmackDown and took a beating for nothing. Lost the championship.
That's
Oh,
hilarious.
Has
That's
to start at the
hilarious.
bottom. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Finn's gonna end up the baby face of this. He still doesn't seem to jive. I still don't. I'm still not 100% sold on Dominic, Liv, and Raquel being like, oh, like they're over, but like, can they flip the script? Because they were really shitty in that
Yeah.
office with AJ Styles, and Dom's really good at being that piece of shit heel, and I think he's still getting over as we speak because he's so good. Could fit. Oh, Demon! I want Demon. I want them to bring the Demon.
If he turns babyface, he
Could
will.
you imagine? Could you imagine if they brought the Demon out of Finn Balor and he challenged Dominic Mysterio? Just Dominic's just scared shitless face when the Demon pops out.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that'd be cool. That'd be
Yeah.
a bit cool.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see. Either way, I think it'll be fine. I think it'll be fun.
Penta, one thing I will say, Penta had a backstage segment with Chad Gable where Chad Gable said, great job losing in that IC title match. But you know what my favorite part of Mania was? Your loser brother. I think he called him useless. Your useless brother losing his first match to El Grande Americano.
Yeah.
And Penta gave him a kick, right? And then Penta, we heard our first reference. He said, don't mess with the Lucha Brothers. Said, don't mess with the Lucha Brothers. And I went, oh, baby. I said, it's coming. It's coming soon, baby.
It'd be wrestling malpractice to not have them team up at some point because they're so good together. But yeah, dude, when he said that, I was like,
we heard our first reference of they've mentioned that they were a tag team and brothers, but like Penta said Lucha Bros. And I was like,
but it was also really smart of the WWE to like have them debut separate brands and give them the spectacle and star treatment they give them to show them like, hey, they're not just tag team guys. They can do cool shit too. And then when we put them together, watch out.
Yeah. And I think Dustin nailed it. I would expect them to get drafted to the same show, even though in real life. So if me and Pluggo were drafting a show right now, and they're amazing. Hello, friend. Where you been?
Hey, what's up?
Where you been, bruh?
Being amazing.
Oh, I know. Always. The facts. Him and Dustin in the chat, we're never going to need any information that we don't have. They're just going to right at us.
Who wrestled on the 1997 May edition of Raw?
Obviously, it was Billy Gunn versus Ken Shamrock. Come on, get it together. Come on.
Steve Blackman.
What are we doing?
Blackman.
What are we doing?
That was my guy growing up. Steve.
You like Steve? You were a Steve Blackman guy?
I was. And then when I got older and realized he wasn't exactly as over as I thought he was, in the sense that like he wasn't as accomplished as I would have remembered him because I just thought he was badass. But you were talking about if we were drafting shows.
Yeah, if we were drafting shows and you took Penta, I'm taking Ray Phoenix with my next pick immediately.
Yeah, just see.
I don't even care who I had on my mind to take. I'm like, oh, well, I'm taking Ray Phoenix now. That's what I would do. Because if it was real life, I feel like that's not true, Shep. Kiss my ass.
You know it was bad, Shep. Your picks. I just mean like Steve. Like, that was that guy that I just like when he came on the show. I was like the Lethal Weapon, Steve Blackman. Hell yeah, dude. And then
just named him, gave him a nickname after a movie.
Yeah,
like we're not even going to try to beat Lethal Weapon.
But then like you look down his like list of accomplishments, and you're like, oh, he didn't win as often as like I thought he did growing up, and he wasn't.
He was hardcore champion a bunch of times.
Yeah, and he wasn't the main event player that I just envisioned. But that's why when you're young, that's awesome.
And he had that music. It was just like,
yep.
It was like nothing to it.
He did that like
the sticks. He had the sticks.
He did that parking lot brawl. I think that was with Shamrock. I think.
Yep. And then
they like lined
with the cars, and then he did the thing with Shane where Shane fell from like the first big fall that Shane ever took, where it was like, oh shit, what the hell?
That old Steve Blackman, dude.
Damn right. You're damn right, Steve Blackman. Let's get him on the show. Email him. I'll interview Steve Blackman right on here.
Yeah,
right on here. I'll interview.
We'll talk about his amazingness.
Yeah, it was good stuff. We barely have discussed. So, in our last few minutes here, we have our final set in the Owen Hart Foundational Tournament over on
Yes.
Dub.
So here's what we should do, because I will fully disclose I was coaching last night. Tough loss for my team, but I told you about it off air. I will not put them on. I will not put them on blast.
Okay, I was just gonna say
I'm not gonna blast. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna put them on. But I was gonna say I missed most and pretty much all of Dynamite. So tell me what, when I go back to watch it, because I always catch back up, what I should watch.
I thought it was a pretty good episode of Dynamite. A lot of good wrestling. There was an all-star 8-man tag to start the show. They got like a half hour. It was long.
Oh, nice.
But it was very good. It was very good. It was the Elite and Ricochet against Kenny Omega, Speedball Mike Bailey, Kevin Knight, and oh my God, Mark Briscoe. And that was a good time. That was a good time. Ricochet and the Elite won, but I would do that. That was a really good time. The main event was Kyle Fletcher versus Hangman Adam Page to go to the finals.
Back.
Oh, that's what I was going to mention. Gross.
Oh, yeah.
Gross. I was cringing. First of all, that the barricade ripped half his back off. Like a big chunk of his back came off on that barricade, and then he got slammed on that back repeatedly for 20 minutes. And I was sitting there going, how is he not crying? I like the amount of pain. I assume it was all adrenaline probably, but the amount of pain, like that had to sting so much. Oh,
yeah. Wrestlers are crazy, man. Like, and adrenaline is a wild thing. But I would have to be like, I need a minute.
Oh, boy.
Because you have to imagine the canvas it's not smooth, and so it's rubbing on your back. The ropes aren't great. Sweating. Yeah.
Every time they showed it, I was like, that had to hurt so bad. It was a lot. It was a lot.
He's the pro.
But that main event was excellent. Kyle Fletcher is a stud. Hangman Adam Page is also a stud. And Hangman Adam Page got the victory. So it's him and Ospreay in the men's final. And then we have Mercedes and Jamie Hayter on the women's side. And we talked about it a little bit off air, and I said, we can get into this if you want. Because I feel like on the men's side of it, okay, I feel like both these brackets came out, and a lot of us looked at the brackets and we said Mercedes and Ospreay. That's the guaranteed Mercedes and Ospreay. That's who this is, right? And now we're at the finals, and both of those people are in the finals.
Mm-hmm.
And we have Ospreay and Hangman, and we have Jamie Hayter and Mercedes. I think on the men's side, I think that is still correct. I do think that Will Ospreay will win that match at Double or Nothing, because I do feel like the match for Hangman at All In is going to be the Young Bucks versus him and Swerve. I feel like that is going to be the match at All In for Hangman.
And I don't love it, because I don't love the idea of Hangman and Swerve being friends.
I don't love it either, because Hangman to me is the main character of AEW, and I feel like Hangman should be the guy that wins the belt back for AEW.
Although the Bucks could just be like, we're EVPs for making this match. You guys don't like each other, so we have the advantage.
It's fair.
They could do that. They could do that. Yeah.
Yep. But I think that's what's going to happen. Yep. On the women's side,
King Lou.
Here comes Lou.
He said, don't you talk bad about our girl Mercedes.
I'm not going to talk bad about our girl Mercedes, because I love our girl Mercedes, but I have done a complete 180, and I think that Jamie Hayter is going to win this tournament.
Okay, but why?
Because there is a history with Tony Storm and Jamie Hayter. Oh, Lou, I'm sorry, the belt. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Lou's like, get that gold off.
Lou's like, get this fucking title off of my chair.
What title may that be? Oh, that's right. You guys thought you tuned into the Kicking Out podcast? No, this is Between Two Beards. We're running it now.
So, all right, let me explain, Lou.
We should just go live on their channel one day. Crashes.
Yeah. Lou, are you leaving? You're like, all right, I understand. Yeah, Lou's like, I'm out of here. I've been replaced by a title belt. Not true, Lou. I love you. Okay, so here's my thing.
Yeah.
Mercedes versus Tony Storm is a giant match that AEW has that we haven't seen yet. And that is a match that they can have. Shep, you watch what you fucking tread lightly, bro. You tread lightly, bro.
King Lou is a saint.
I'll tell you this: when I opened this title the other day, Lou was sniffing around it, and I almost caught him getting ready to bite it. And I said no, and he looked at me. And I said and he listened.
Said Daddy's home.
But yeah, I was like, we're not disrespecting the belt yet. But anyway,
Ain't it funny that you take a title from another podcast and they just spam your chat all night? It's crazy. It's awesome.
Yeah. Okay. So here's my deal, right?
All right, let's hear it.
2 years ago at All In, the first All In Wembley, Toni Storm won the world title at All In. Who did she defeat?
Jamie Hayter.
Okay. Last year at All In, when Jamie Hayter made her return, where was she when she made her return? What event was it?
On the pre-show at All In.
Look, it shouldn't have been on the fucking pre-show, but it was at All In.
Sure. Yeah. I remember because it's like it's Jamie Hayter. Her return needs that pop at the. Anyway,
Correct.
I digress.
Jamie Hayter has a history with Toni Storm, and in that match where Toni Storm won the world title for her, Jamie Hayter was very injured and very beat up, and it was not a good match because Jamie Hayter was injured. It was very quick. It was not the proper Jamie Hayter versus Toni Storm match that we were all super excited and super ready for. Sure. And that was not timeless Toni Storm either. That was the Toni Storm that was going into the descent that would lead to timeless Toni Storm. So I look at it from two different scenarios.
Was that Rejects Toni Storm or whatever they were calling?
No, I think this was when she started. Did they already boot her out of there?
Yeah, because that was okay.
I feel like the timeline, but this was when she was on her way to crashing down to become timeless Toni.
Become the GOAT.
Yes, literally. And then I look at it from a perspective of this. Okay, if Mercedes wins the tournament, you get Mercedes and Toni, winner take all, and that will be a great match. And it's also a match that they can do anytime they want. Like they don't have to, but that would be a great match and it would be a gigantic match. But I look at it this way: All In is their WrestleMania now. Okay, that's how they view All In.
Yeah,
and I think if Jamie
so they've got to go the biggest match you could possibly make.
I get that. However, in Texas, in Arlington, right near Dallas, I feel like you can get two great matches instead of one if Jamie Hayter defeats Mercedes.
Sure.
You would get Jamie Hayter versus Toni Storm with that that deep story that they can tell there. And then that also opens you up to get another gigantic women's match on your show with a rematch between Athena and Mercedes for the TBS championship. So you get two giant matches on your show of All In instead of one giant match when it comes to Mercedes and Toni. Another side of that, on this last night, Mercedes had a sit down with Renee Paquette, and she repeatedly mentioned how she was undefeated. I'm undefeated. I've never lost. I'm 25-0 in singles competition. I'm undefeated. What better way to get Mercedes her first loss than in the finals of a tournament where she's not going to lose a title? It's not going to really affect any of her deep story. This is a way to get Mercedes that first loss where it doesn't affect anything other than her getting that first loss because they're fighting for an opportunity, not for a title. She's not defending a title, and she's not going to be undefeated forever. She's not. And she doesn't need to be. She's proved her point. We know she's the GOAT. We know she's, I hope Paul, even though we're on Paul's side, I hope he's not listening. We know she's one of the GOATs. We know. She doesn't need to go 50-0. She doesn't have to be, he doesn't like
I know, but listen, and again, I think he's a product of his environment. That other podcast over there, I think has, warped his perspective and his mind, and I think that's why they lash out at him.
You got stuff going on in them streets tonight, bro. That's like the third siren I've heard. You everything all right?
Hey man, I live
People getting wild in South Bend.
Yeah, I'm telling you, the Bend B's bumping tonight. No, yeah, I think it can be. We're not too far from, we're not close, but we're like about five minutes down the road, maybe 10. There's a police station, and then I live off of like a busier street, so they take this one. But yeah, I don't think you're wrong. I think I remember we had Phil Lindsay on, and he was just like, that's the biggest match that they possibly
100%.
could make.
100%.
And I think that they got to sell out. But yeah, I don't dislike the idea of Hayter versus Storm and then Athena versus Mercedes.
I'm just saying you get two big matches.
I'm okay with it
if
if Athena ends up costing Mercedes against Jamie or something. Does Jamie Hayter beat her straight up, 1-on-1 clean? Do you think that happens? I would like that to be the case. Do it proper. Let Jamie Hayter shine, because you don't want her limping into a, you know what I mean, backdooring her way into a title match with Tony. Because she's a baby face and she's over, but so is.
And they teased it. They teased it. Phil is dialed in. I get that. I understand why he's dialed in. I get that. But I'd like
to think we're dialed in too. I just remember Phil convinced us that was like a huge.
So for me, and they teased it last night. They did that sit down where Mercedes mentioned again a couple times that she was undefeated. Renee even mentioned it again, and I'm like, if you mentioning that she's undefeated a lot, you know what that tells me as a longtime wrestling fan? She ain't gonna be undefeated that much longer if you keep on mentioning it. You know what I mean? Maria, she does not need to do that.
I also love that I said I'm dialed into AEW. Also,
she already is the longest reigning TBS champion of all time. She already is that. She does not need to go undefeated like Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill going undefeated for that long was a detriment to Jade Cargill in AEW, and that's why she is currently in WWE. I almost called her Sasha. Mercedes does not need to be undefeated. They go 50-0. We know how good she is. We've been watching her for 12
They just never, for some reason, they never pivoted her up into that main event scene. With Mercedes, this is a clear decision of Mercedes to say, I want to make this title relevant. Because again, Mercedes had enough pull when they signed her to be like world championship. Put me in the mix right now. But she said, I want to do this. And she's done a lot of cool stuff. So yeah.
Look at him. Am I gonna be shocked if Mercedes wins? Absolutely not.
I know, Scott. We're just giving you a hard time.
Yeah, Scott. I love to give you a hard time. The only thing I actually am angry about is that you live in New Hampshire and that you are an Eagles fan. So those two things are the only negatives you have. Your running back surely loves the president, huh? Anyway, I used to like that guy.
There's options. I don't think you're wrong. You get two good matches out of. Sure, we'll see. You know, though, it's going to be hard for Tony Khan to not do winner take all. You know, he's going to be
1,000%.
He's going to be like
1,000%. I get it. I feel like we're discrediting Jamie Hayter a bit.
Yeah, she's really good. She's fantastic. She's a former. Former. I just, if this happened, if this All In was in London, right? Jamie Hayter. Like that'd be a huge hometown. It's in Texas. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, you're right. I think we're just not selling Hayter short. She is fantastic. But to your point too, we have seen this before, right?
Yes.
We haven't seen Mercedes and Tony mix it up yet, and I think we want it.
But did we again? Yes, technically you are correct. We have seen Jamie Hayter and Tony Storm before, but did we really see it the way that we were supposed to?
I mean, that's hindsight 2020. That's like this Tony Storm timeless character for sure, and I think you get it proper. You're not wrong. I don't think you're wrong. I'm just throwing out.
And I just look at it and I go, and I guess it all depends on how you like your wrestling. Like, am I going to be upset if we have this giant match, winner take all, Mercedes and Tony? No, I'm not. But there's a better story to be told if it's Jamie Hayter and Tony Storm.
Yeah, you're gonna be like, I would have did it this way.
No, I want Boston people to win everything.
It's true. That is true.
I want Boston people to win. I am loyal to a fault of the city where I am from. So, like,
it sounds like they have a good problem on their hands.
Exactly. Yes, I guess you could look at it that way as a greater thing. It's like, well, it's a win-win either way. Just like I do think on the men's side too. Either way you go, it's a win-win. Like. And I will say without question that this year's Owen tournaments easily the best they've ever had. Like the quality of matches throughout both of these tournaments was next level this year. Real good stuff.
The first couple of years, kind of figured it out. It's cool concept. Yeah, I think they dialed it in.
Oh man,
I'm with
just
you there.
real good, just really, really good.
They've dialed in
know.
the format, they've dialed in the stories, and they've made it where you look at it and go, "That makes sense," and then you're like, "But," and then so they might throw you
Yeah.
a swerve for sure.
Yeah. So I would say, other than those things, the MJF Hurt Business stuff, another good night. Another good night with them last night. I would
Check that out.
yes, I would check that out a lot. I very much enjoyed that. MJF last night was officially tired of Bobby Lashley's shit. And it was good. It was good. It was very good. I'm digging it. I'm digging what's going on there big time. I'm very interested in seeing where they go there. I have an idea of how it will end. But again, that's the fantasy booking hat in me. But yeah, no, MJF, you know, they show, yeah, I think it's going to be MJF and Bobby at Double or Nothing. Yeah, I think it's going to be, that's where they're going to go. So
That's fair.
they showed the Hurt Syndicate in the back, and they were like, you know, clearly independent wrestlers, but there were just people in the back, and they were chanting, "We are people," and they were like singing. And MVP's like, they walk up and they're smiling, and MVP's like, "Yeah, it's catchy, isn't it?" He goes, "You know what's even better? When you actually do it." And they just beat the shit out of like these 5 or 6 guys. Just beat the shit out. Then they make their way to the ring. And MVP's not messing around. He goes, "This is an official announcement for the Hurt Syndicate. As you guys have seen, we've been thinking about adding a 4th. So we're going to try this one more time." And Shelton and MVP both look at Bobby one more time. Because in the back, they were trying to convince Bobby to do it. Shelton's like, "Come on, he's funny. You know, he's this, blah, blah, blah." They're all just trying to convince him some more. MJF comes out. He puts over Shelton. He puts over MVP. And then he just goes, "Hey, Bob."
Hey, Bob.
Hey, Bob.
I like that.
And then MVP goes, "All right, thumbs up from me." They go to Shelton. Shelton does the thumbs up. Bobby does the side. And the whole time, MVP and Shelton are looking at Bobby, and Bobby's going like this. He's going like this, and he's playing it up. And MJF is just leaning against the ropes, and he's like, "Put it up, Bob. Put it up. Put it up." And Bobby again goes down. And at that point, MJF just openly, he just goes, "You know what, Bob? I'm getting real sick of your shit."
Nice.
And he goes, "What do you exactly want from me?" He goes, "I've given you women. I've given you money. I've helped you win matches. I've given you cars. What do you want from me?" He goes, "Is it Rogaine, you bald son of a bitch?"
Oh, man, nah, that's a good line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he said that. And then Bobby looks at MVP, and MVP and Shelton kind of give him a look, and they just turn their back. And Bobby just smothers MJF with his hands and brings him into the corner. And MJF is begging. He's like, "Stop, stop, like stop." Like he's begging Bobby. And Bobby and this was not on microphone, like this, the natural camera audio. And Bobby just goes, "We hurt people." And he goes, "You want to prove something to me? Hurt somebody." And he just like threw him, and he left.
Poor Griff Garrison next week.
Yeah. So that's kind of where that went. I thought it was very good. I'm digging it. I'm digging it. So that was a segment that I thought it was really good. And I do think this might eventually lead to like Bobby saying like, "Hey, you and me at Double or Nothing. If you can beat me, you're in."
Yeah.
Kind of thing. I could see that happening.
Yeah.
And then I think it fully leads to MJF aligning with FTR and Stokely to cost them the tag titles.
Gotcha, Bob.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's going to be one of those things where MJF joins, and then like a week or two later, he fucks him over. Or it looks like Bobby's going to finally accept MJF, and he fucks him over right on the spot before he actually joins.
So
it's one of those things.
It's fun that you mentioned the way he talks about Bobby Lashley, considering he's in Happy Gilmore too.
Yep.
And I just watched Happy Gilmore the other day.
Oh, all-time classic.
Not right now, Bob.
Yeah, not right now, Bob.
Now's not the time, Bob. Watch it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe he's leaning into his Adam Sandler.
What was that? Your fingers hurt?
Oh.
Well, now your back's going to hurt because you just pulled landscaping duty. Anybody else's fingers hurt? Can I get a warm glass of milk? What was that? You can get a warm glass of shut the hell up.
Hey, listen,
Now
this
you
is these are high quality
Here,
clothes there.
eat that. Leave us alone. fucking
The
puts
parts
the burgers
This-
and fries out the fucking
Yeah.
sunroof.
The other one,
Oh.
the other line that was underrated was Mr. Larson's like, "Oh, you trying to reach the green from here, shooter? That'd be impossible. Well, Mr. Gilmore did it just an hour ago." And then he goes, "I'll see you in the parking lot."
Yeah. Well,
Because-
first, and then Shooter turns around first. And he goes, "Well, good for Happy Gilmore."
Oh
Oh my god! And he just like he's looking at him, and he just
Oh,
bends.
I'll
Yeah,
see you in
just
the
bends.
parking lot. Ah, such
And
a
the
good
whole crowd's like, "Ooh,
movie. Such a good movie.
you people in your shanties, you eat pieces of shit for breakfast?" No, no.
Oh,
What a classic.
such a good movie.
Thanks for dressing up. Hey, if I had to wear that, I'd kick my own ass. Yeah, you know what golf? You know what golf requires? Goofy pants, and a fat ass.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh, good stuff. He's just wearing the Bruins jersey the whole fucking time. Like that's just what he wears, just the Bruins jersey.
Stand there and make sure I don't look stupid. Where were you then on that one, idiot?
No, dipshit.
Oh, yeah, dipshit. That's right. He
Yeah,
called it
yeah.
dipshit.
Where were you on that one, dipshit?
Dipshit.
Get out of the way. Oh, where were you on that one, dipshit? No.
We were just looking for pieces of this bottle. Oh, there's some right there. There's some
Yeah.
over there. Oh,
I didn't break a rake. I was simply testing its durability.
and I put it in its
And I
home.
placed it in the woods because it's made of wood, and I thought it should be with its home.
its family. Yes.
Oh, good stuff.
So you know MJF locked into some Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I get very skeptical about those sequels like that because I'm like, okay, that's like an essential movie of my childhood,
yeah.
Happy Gilmore, and I know it's not going to be good. Like I already know, but I'm like, I want to watch it because I love Happy Gilmore, but I don't want to watch. Like I still haven't seen Anchorman 2.
Yeah, don't worry.
Because I know it's so bad, and I'm like, I don't want
To ruin the first one.
Yeah, because Anchorman is one of the greatest comedies ever. I can't watch the second one. I
Yeah.
haven't seen Hangover 2 or 3.
Well, to be fair, Hangover 2 and 3 are pretty much the exact same.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. But like, I haven't seen those because to me, it will make the first one. It'll ruin it for me. I don't, so it's just kind of.
That's fair.
I don't know. Although again, another reason why you say this one's good, but it's why I haven't seen 22 Jump Street, because 21 Jump Street was hilarious.
Oh, 22 Jump Street. Might be funnier.
Yes,
in my opinion.
exactly. But one of the main reasons why I didn't see it when it first came out is I was like, 21 Jump Street was great.
Well, dip
I
your
don't
toe into the 22 realm.
Yeah,
It's good.
I will.
It's good.
I will.
That one's good.
All right. We got to get out of here. So
Yeah, it's your birthday tomorrow. Happy birthday, you
It is.
beautiful
It is my
stud,
birthday
you.
tomorrow. It is my birthday tomorrow.
So I'm gonna do the damn.
I turn a big round number.
Oh my god, that beautiful bell. I'm gonna do the damn thing while you
Wait,
hold it.
can I get this right, dude? Jesus.
I don't know what you can do, but
I don't
yeah.
even know what I'm doing here. What am I doing? Do you think?
But yes, you can find everything that we've got going on for Between Two Beards at B2Beards on all social media platforms, and that's what we do. And then I don't know nothing. Oh,
Shep
Natty,
wants to know what we think about Natty.
like
Her
Bloodsport.
have you seen her promos on social media? She's still cutting them. She's doing Bloodsport again.
Well, she's doing Bloodsport again, and she's facing Kenzie Page at the Crockett
Yeah.
Cup in the NWA. I like this version of Natty, and I think Natty likes this version of Natty. She seemed like she was having a great time.
I think I would like to see this version of Natty on WWE television at some point if they could do that. I think that would be fun.
Yeah, I think,
Clearly, Rusev is coming back as the Redeemer with the promo we saw on Raw with him. So I would love Natty to do that.
there you go.
I would
But
love
yeah.
Natty to do
Oh,
it.
TNA
Anybody
was
from
fun.
NXT show up yet, Scott?
I didn't know TNA was live tonight, or we would have kept tabs.
Yeah, I know. But sorry.
But
What do you got
sorry,
coming
not.
up this
But
weekend?
sorry, not sorry, because you're the champ. It's your birthday. But yeah, if you want to know what I got going on, go to Pluggo on all social media platforms. Search Pluggo. My face pops up. That is me tomorrow morning, or no, tomorrow. I don't know what time tomorrow. I'll find out. Stay tuned to socials. I got an interview with Amira dropping. She's heading over to Marvelous doing the Japan tour. She was on the Collective Weekend. She's wrestled for LPW. She's fantastic. I had an interview last week with Rachel Armstrong. That is up right now. We talked to her ahead of Square Circle Expo. Saturday morning, 10 a.m. I'm back with Blair Pacheco for 4 Exposure. We'll be talking GCW's. Got some shows this weekend. And then all of my writings are up right now on lovewrestling.ca. And I think that's everything I got going on. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. You can find me at JPJ Loves Gaming on all social media platforms. You can find me here at Love Wrestling Thursdays. Thursday.
Dude, it's hard to see with the
Oh, is
shine
it
on my belt.
Too much glare? Too much glare?
Yeah. Man.
You can find me Thursday nights, 8 p.m. with this fella every Thursday, and this fella every Thursday for the rest of time as well.
For the rest of our lives.
The rest of our lives.
I've got you for the rest of your natural born lives.
Correct. But with this man, my main squeeze, Pluggo, for Between Two Beards. Thursday mornings, 9 a.m., Firmly Inc., me and Drew Nicholas, we talk about Raw and Dynamite extensively and things like that. So you can find us there Thursday mornings at 9 a.m. I also do some work on the wrestling side of things over on bodyslam.net on Wednesday nights right after AEW Dynamite. Me and our pal Jose Gonzalez, Jose on the Air, do an AEW Dynamite review show, Dynamiked Up. And then on Mondays after Raw, we have Raw Dogs over on bodyslam.net. So that's where you can find me on my wrestling stuff. And then, JPJ Loves Gaming on Twitch. We play a lot of games and things like that. I just started a new job. So the last week and a half or so, very few and far between, sparingly, because your boy has been tired getting used to getting back to the early mornings. But over the next couple weeks, when I get more used to everything, we'll kind of be trying to get on there 3 or 4 times a week, playing some games and doing stuff like that. But that's where you can find me. And you can also find me on the Kicking Out podcast monthly, defending this thing that, why did I do it upside down? It's because I'm looking at myself reverse, Pluggo, and it's messing with me.
It's, well, again, it's a new
yeah, you can find me on the Kicking Out podcast every month.
Boom! Boom! Boom!
Defending and retaining.
Defending. Kicking Out podcast champion, JPJ. That title is never going back. Real quick, Maria wants to know, Ron Burgundy or Ricky Bobby?
Oh, Ron Burgundy, come on. Both movies are hilarious.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say Ron Burgundy's all-timer. Ricky Bobby's, that's like 1A, 1B stuff for me.
Yeah.
But yes, and thank you, Maria. The interviews are already done and in the can. They were awesome. I was super fortunate to do those. So, yeah, until next week, friends. Is that gold too much that you can't push the button?
No, I had it covering my face. Yeah, why don't you push the button? I'll let you push the button.
Oh, shoot.
I'll let you do it because this is staying right here, baby.
Okay.
Until next time, y'all.
Hold on. Until next time. Let me find the stuff. Okay. Till next time. Say hi to Sue.
Hey there, Pluggo and JPJ. It's Trent's mom, Sue. And I have a bone to pick with you. So, I understand that you guys are being real idiots and spending your entire monthly budget. You've got to be kidding me. This is not the way to be when you're trying to run a business. Your boss, Spencer, is really pissed off at you. I'm pissed off at you. You have some nerve. Get a grip. You have to control yourself. You can't just go out and spend all the money that you're making, you two beards guys. Oh no, this is coming out so stupid. Anyway, behave yourselves, or I'm going to cut you off from watching AEW. You're no longer going to get to know, be able to meet my son. What? Or me. I'm sorry, this is like, I don't know. Anyway, thanks so much.